The action never stops on Sports 1440.
Every goal, every Selly. The place to cheer on your favorite team is Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house, with all games on tons of big screens. And Selly's menu, top shelf. Plus, check out the game night food and drink features. And don't miss the excitement of Oilers watch parties all season long. Experience Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
It's true. On the rocks, the party never stops. Check it out. Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Start your day with a blast of sports. Kevin Carius, along with Brandon Douglas, brings the fire, the fun, and the fearless takes. Weekdays, 7 to 11. Text Kevin, 883-401-1440. Mornings with Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquessential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade.
Look at it. That sends the puck.
Murray with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss.
Wow, on the first pitch he sees as a Pirate has hit a 2-run homer.
You live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit.
Oh, wow, what a start. Essentially
rugged and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Presented by interest rates from 0.99%. You'll love it. No waiting. Immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings are away. I'm licensed insolvency trustee.
Look at it. That sends the puck long and long.
To discover a debt-free future.
The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
It's Jay. Oh, wow, what a start. The Lakers. I mean, defensively.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And allowing a first pitch breaking ball. Sends a fly ball out to the corner. It's the rookie Carson Bench leaping. And no, that one goes. Brandon Lau on the first pitch he sees as a Pirate has hit a 2-run homer.
Well, a lovely Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. She's like, it's pretty hot in here today. I'm going to have to take a few layers off. How you doing? Welcome to the show. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of PlayAlberta.ca. First time I have to say I was taking clothes off on camera, but that was only a coat, people. Keep it above board. So we don't need to crash the internet. Today at PlayAlberta.ca, of course, the Daily Grand. Get your tickets, $1,000 a day for the next 20 years at PlayAlberta.ca. And while you're there, you can check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boost. Of course, we got a few involving tonight's tilt for the Edmonton Oilers. Some other ones around the NHL because it's another busy night in the National Hockey League. We will we'll get to all of that in the NHL. Last night, no games really for the playoffs. Well, that's not true. Boston won, came back and beat the Sabres. That's huge for the Bruins. They're now 3 points up on the Senators and the Islanders, and 4 points up on the Red Wings, although the Sens and the Red Wings each have a game in hand. Boston is now tied in points with Montreal, but Les Habitants have 2 games in hand. Tonight, lots of games impacting the playoffs and lots of head-to-head games. It's awesome. Starting out east, the Blue Jackets in Montreal, a massive tilt there, and then the Penguins and those plucky Ottawa Senators, who got brutal news today. Sherbrook is out 6 to 8 weeks with the broken wrist. How's there no penalty on that? That's the part I don't understand. JT Miller comes and cross-checks him like right on the hand, right on the wrist for no reason. But I'm just like, what? That's pretty blatant cross-check. Like, broke the guy's bone. I'd say it's a pretty good cross-check. The Seattle Kraken, I said it the other day, Kraken, they're out, but they are in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, I guess, could put the official last bolt, no pun intended, or maybe there was, in the coffin of the Kraken tonight. You have the Islanders. They need a win, and they're hosting the Dallas Stars tonight. The Wild, they're pretty much locked in number 3. They're taking on the Florida Panthers, who are out. The Predators, surging Nashville Predators, are hosting the New Jersey Devils. Colorado hasn't officially locked up first place, but pretty much punched their ticket. They're in Winnipeg. The Utah Mammoth will try to bounce back after losing to the Oilers. They host the Capitals. Anaheim is in Calgary. The Oilers are in Vegas. And LA is in Vancouver. The Oilers roll into Vegas, a place where they've had a lot of success lately. They do very well against Vegas. Well, just overall, but regular season, I think in their last 6 visits are 4-2, and the playoffs are 4-2, including they'd won their last 3. Well, they won all the 3 games in Vegas last year in the playoffs, so they like it there. And we'll see tonight if the Oilers. Now, we shouldn't be surprised if Edmonton plays well tonight. They can win 2 in a row. They've done it 12 times this year. Winning 2 in a row, not a problem. Playing 2 good games in a row, not a problem. It's if you get to 3. So would I be surprised? Should anybody be surprised if the Oilers beat Vegas tonight? No, because they can play 2 good games in a row. No problem. Gets a little dicey after that. Well, really, they've only ever won 3-1. So we'll see. It'd be a good time to do it again. As Spec said, they've had one good week when you look at it from a 3-game winning streak all season long. Unreal. But how about that stat that Ken Bulkey came up with? The Vegas Golden Knights have trailed in a hockey game more than any other team in the NHL. And no one's within 100 minutes of the Vegas Golden Knights in that category. And it's when you see that category, you're like, all right. But then you look and I can tell you why they suck by trailing all the time. Because in the first and second periods, they're brutal. Look at their scoring by the first and second period. Like, they come back in some games and have found ways to get points later on and push games into to overtime. But in the first period, they've been outscored 75-59. In the second period, they're outscored 80-75. to 67. So they're minus 29 in the first two periods. Now you get to the third period and all of a sudden they're like, hey, wait a sec, we got to show up. And they've outscored teams 91 to 56 in the third. So if the Oilers are leading after 40 minutes, Edmonton can't just be like, this is an easy game. It's the one period where Vegas has played really well in the third. They'll come back. They'll force some games to overtime. It's not bad. But they score a lot, usually because they're trailing a lot. But 91 to 56, I was looking, that is one of the best third period goal differentials in the National Hockey League. Right? You're plus 35 in the third period alone. Imagine if they showed up for the first two periods. Like even Colorado, who's dominant, isn't plus 35 in the third. They're plus 37. And they would score a lot of empty net goals because they're leading in a lot of games. And they're only plus 37. So we'll see what Vegas can do tonight. More importantly, what can the Oilers do? Connor Ingram looks like he will get the start in goal tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. No other lineup changes. Stashie's not coming in. Why would he? Emerson's playing great. And they don't have any healthy bodies. Now, on Saturday, Curtis Lazar, afternoon game, he could be activated from LTR. He's already sat out to 10 games, but he needs to sit out 24 days, which would be tomorrow. So he would be eligible to get in the lineup Saturday against the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Trent Frederick not on the trip. He's not going to play Saturday. Earliest you could see him return would be on the 31st against Seattle. He's out with concussion, my understanding. Doc, he is eligible to come back the next time the Oilers face Vegas on the 4th. So he's still got a few games left, 4 more to sit out for him, just because it's 10 games and 24 days, in case you're wondering. The 31st gets into 21 days, and he's got 3 more. So he would be eligible to play on the Saturday against Vegas. And Leon Draisaitl is eligible to come off LTIR by the 11th of April, the final 3 games of the regular season. I don't expect him to play all 3, but he might play in 1, maybe 2 of the final regular season games. We'll see. That'd be ideal for the Oilers. And Draisaitl knock off a little bit of rust, feel the puck, and then get ready for the postseason. And yes, I'm assuming the Oilers are making the postseason. I know there's a lot of people out there, Gregor, they're not in. Like, seriously, you don't think the Oilers are going to make the playoffs? Like, what are you talking about? Yes, they're going to make the playoffs. They're 5 points up in the Kings. I don't see them floundering like that. Now, tonight's a big game because of the potential home ice. Oilers in Vegas, 10 games each. They play each other twice. If you're Edmonton and you can sweep both of those games, you put yourself in a real good spot to force Vegas to and plus Edmonton owns the tiebreaker for regulation wins. You'd essentially be 6 points up on Vegas at that point if you win those 2 games, because they're already 1 point up and they own the tiebreaker. That put them 6 up with 8 games to go. Do the math in your head. The Oilers go 4-4. Vegas would have to basically get that. Yeah, they got to get 6 points. No, they'd have to get 7 points to catch them. So even if they just went 4-4, Vegas would have to go 7-0-1. So that's why these 2 games are massive down the stretch. Massive. If you want to get home ice advantage, at least for 1 round. Now, Edmonton's going to tell themselves that, hey, we still got a chance to catch Anaheim. And mathematically, sure, it's possible, especially if you could beat them at home on Saturday in Edmonton. But you got to focus on tonight. And I'm sure that's all they'll do. The Oilers, we'll see. Utah, that's the blueprint. You know you can play that way. You did it the last time you were in Vegas 18 days ago. So are they capable of it? Yes. Will they do it? We will we'll have to see. We'll get your thoughts on that. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Connor Halley is with us. Now, some of you, I know, like Carius and Lowtide, the diehards, you have your baseball fantasy leagues. Paul Skeens, one of the greatest pitchers in MLB right now. He didn't make it out of the first inning today. Cons. Now, you know, there was sunny, it was windy, his center fielder dropped a few balls, but you're telling me, Cons, he got basically 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah.
And he's got, did you say 67 is his ERA?
If you round down. 67.5. Yeah, I mean, O'Neal Cruz, the first one, probably misplays it off the bat. I don't know, opening day jitters, opening inning. The second one, it's a high fly ball. It's windy, it's sunny, but you still expect him to grab it. But yeah, no errors on the play. Skeens eats it and doesn't even get out of the first inning. And it was a good start, too. Pirates were up 2-0 going into the bottom of the first, and then they allow 5. So, yeah, 67.5. And then Matson as well, a 27 ERA. So the Pirates pitching statistically not good to start the season.
Yeah, that's tough. Now, Skeens has been one of the most dominant pitchers we've seen in the last years. And something tells me he'll bounce back. But, he won't be happy about that. And the thing is, like, when I get how the rotation works, but he didn't throw many pitches. Like, couldn't they not just say, hey, you know what, we'll wait a few days and start you again rather than wait the full rotation? And I wouldn't have to talk to somebody, like, I guess because you don't want to ruin the other guys, right? But you do all the warm-up, you do everything else, and then you barely pitch. This guy's used to going 8-9 innings regularly. Not today, though. Not today. So if you put him in your opening week lineup for MLB, something tells me you're not happy, Cons. Something tells me you're not happy.
And you would have invested a very high pick on him as well. Not the return you're expecting.
Yeah. Today on the show, we got a great lineup for you. So we'll get Speck joining us from Vegas. Dan Duva is going to join us, talk about the Golden Knights. Man, they can't score right now. They've got 5 goals in their last 5 games. In the month of March, they are 4-9. They can't score. They don't get a lot of saves. Now, they don't give up many shots either. That's what's wild about it. They don't give up many shots. They give up not a crazy amount of high danger chances if you look at it. Their expected goals against is 3rd best at 5-on-5 in the NHL, but they're 26th in goals against. That's where I always say expected is great. Actual wins you games. Expected is a nice thing to talk about. People, but no, expected. If your goalie doesn't make save, I don't care what your expected goals against is. It's what's your actual goals against, because that's what impacts the game. Landon Ferraro will join us in hour number 1. Dave Owen from Sherbrook Liquor, and very special guest joining us in studio today. Of course, he was the voice, one of the main leaders of the Edmonton Investors Group. Cal Nichols will join us. Why? Because it's 30 years ago when what began as initially as kind of like a ticket drive to try to help the team eventually turned in to Cal and 37 other owners, or 37 other people becoming owners of the Edmonton Oilers. Less than 2 years later, because it was March 13th, 1998 is when the press conference happened. Think about that, Oilers fans. That was the year after the Todd Marchand goal, and right before the Oilers came back from a 3-1 deficit to beat Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, and the Colorado Avalanche in the opening round. That's when they picked back-to-back shutouts in games 6 and 7. I still remember Mike Greer scoring like probably one of the hardest working empty net goals I'd ever seen in 1998 in that first round. Now, obviously, the Oilers, they were the plucky bunch back then. You know, they battled hard, but they didn't have the skill level. And more importantly, they just didn't spend the money like the top teams. Dallas, New Jersey, Detroit. The Rangers spent money, but they didn't spend it wisely. And, you know, eventually Colorado was another one of the big spenders. And then eventually the salary cap came in, and hey, first year in, the Oilers were competitive. And now 20 years later, they're pretty darn competitive. And so we'll talk to Cal about all of that and much more. So that should be loads of fun coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll take your text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Other news, MLB, the Yankees. What about the golden sombrero? Man, talk about some of the stars getting off the slow start. Skeens gets lit up. And yesterday, the Yankees put up 7 on the Giants. But Mr. Judge, 4 strikeouts, went 0 for 5. Another. Now, granted, it's super early. Something tells me the guy's going to end up with 40-plus home runs this season. Wouldn't be surprised at all. But that's not the best way to open up your season, 0 for 5 with 4 Ks at the plate. Ouch. I know he likes to strike out. I'd like to see, like, well, I don't have to look it up, or Cons, maybe you can. What's the most strikeouts Judge has had in a season? Like, I know he whiffs quite a bit. Like, he's not Stanton by any stretch, but still, you start with the golden sombrero. That is a tough one to come back from.
208.
208
in 2017.
Okay. And what did he do? How many strikeouts last year?
Last year he had 114.
Wow. So significant drop.
You know what? Sorry, I went to the wrong category. It was 160 last year.
Okay. I was going to say from 208 to 1. She's cut it in half. It's pretty damn good. So, yeah, when you're a big power swinger like that, you're going to K. So he's like 1 strikeout a game, basically, on average, give or take.
Throughout his career, very close. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously he'll go a stretcher without it, but never a good start, especially for all of you who play in your fantasy leagues to have a guy go 0 for 5 with 4 Ks. Probably not shaping up very well for that. Looking at the Oilers and the NHL and the standings and everything else, we mentioned the games that matter tonight. So if the Oilers could win in regulation, that's always the caveat now, they would put themselves 3 up on the Vegas Golden Knights. And then depending on what happens in Anaheim, they're either going to be, if Edmonton wins, they'll remain 5 back of the Ducks, or 4 if the Ducks lose in overtime, or 3 if somehow Calgary finds a way to win. I was looking up some numbers today. And I got a lot actually I actually kind of really want to jump ahead to get to our stats of the day, because we got some sick stats for you to chew on today. But the one number as I was looking up for the Edmonton Oilers, and I kind of stumbled across it, but then I was curious, so I went down the rabbit hole, which happens a lot of times with me when it comes to certain stats and different things. And I was looking at the Oilers and their speed as a team. And the Oilers have the most 22 plus mile an hour bursts in the NHL. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, it's because they have McDavid. And that's true to a point. So the team has 219. McDavid has 127 himself. The rest of the team has 92. But let's just say you remove McDavid from the equation. Even if they had 92, they'd still be 3rd in the West and 6th overall in the NHL. It's pretty darn good. The Oilers are quick. Roslovic, Draisaitl, Kapanen, Podkolzin, Savoy, Nurse, and actually, Max Jones has 4 bursts already in only 4 games. They got a lot of guys that can move. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, Adam Henrique. Yeah, sure. Well, not everybody has to be a burner. But the Oilers have 219 of those. But I thought a better representation of your team is like the 20 to 22 mile an hour bursts, because lots of guys will kind of live in that range. And the Oilers, 2nd in the NHL with 1,927. Colorado's 1st with 2,168. Now, maybe not a huge surprise to a lot of people, but, McKinnon, McDavid, they're right up there. Also, Marty Necas is right up there. So that, gives Colorado a little bit of bump. Those 2 guys are both uber quick. But then it goes Utah in the West, 1825. And then it drops down. Like, Edmonton has almost 300 more 20 to 22 mile an hour bursts than every other team in the West. Anaheim's at 1646. Then drops down to like 1435. Vegas, 1423. So the Oilers basically have 500 more bursts of 20 to 22 miles an hour than Vegas. And they have 219 22 plus mile an hour ones to Vegas's 58. Vegas has Jack Eichel, who has 23, and Brett Houghton, who has 8, and no one else on their team has more than 3. Like, Edmonton is a clearly quicker team than Vegas. And I was looking at it. So if you look at the top teams in the West in speed, I'm just going to go over and tell me if you see the connection. So here's the top teams in speed in the West. Colorado 1, Edmonton 2, Utah 3, Anaheim 4, Minnesota 5, Vegas 6, LA Kings 7. Right? Those are 7 of the top 9 teams in the West. The only exceptions are Nashville, who's actually 15th, and Dallas. Actually, they're tied for 14th with 1,164. So I'm interested to see how Dallas would match up. Minnesota, not so much, but against Colorado. Like, you're talking a massive difference in how those teams are built and how they play. Now, they both have success, but Dallas and Nashville are the outliers. Because if you go out east, here's the top teams in speed in the East. Buffalo won at 1861. Then the Islanders, Canadians, Washington, a little bit of an outlier, Ottawa, Columbus, Carolina, Detroit, Tampa Bay. So all those teams are either in the playoffs or right there, excluding Washington. The outliers there are Pittsburgh and Boston, and they're the 2 slowest teams in the Eastern Conference. Boston's kind of an anomaly because Zadorov, funny enough, is like top 3 fastest defenseman in the NHL as far as bursts go. And I look at Boston and I just think, man, if you're that slow, can you really have success in the postseason? I wonder. But it's not, hey, if you can skate, It's not the only reason you win, but clearly outside of 3 teams, it's a pretty big reason why you're going to be in the playoff race. Calgary, by the way, the slowest team in the NHL, and by a significant margin. They have 990 bursts of 20 to 22 miles an hour. They also have the fewest bursts of 22 plus, only at 23. The Oilers have 219 of those, but they have 1,927, almost double what Calgary has. Almost double. So if you're a Flame fan, you're the Calgary Flames, you better be looking and say, hey, yeah, we got to draft well. We got to get some speed in our lineup moving forward. You can't compete in the NHL when you can't get to the pucks. You're going to lose too many races. Just that simple. But that is a massive difference. 990 for Calgary, and the closest team to them is Boston, 1125. So they're well below a lot of teams in the Western Conference in speed. The Oilers, they can move. They got a lot of guys that can move. And if they can just learn to play consistent defensively, which remains to be seen, they could be a threat. We'll come back. Landon Ferraro joins us here on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
Start your day with a blast of sports. Kevin Carius, along with Brandon Douglas, brings the fire, the fun, and the fearless takes. Weekdays, 7 to 11. Text Kevin, 883-401-1440. Mornings with Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group. Beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit selvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show as the Oilers tonight. Well, down the stretch here, every game's big. You only got 10 games left. And until you officially punch your ticket to the playoffs, it should be easy to get up for the games. You got Vegas tonight. You got Anaheim. Seattle would be Seattle's sixth game of a 6-game road trip. And, maybe by then it might be mathematically possible to eliminate them from the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. But you could definitely put them in the category of another team that can't catch you. And that's what the Oilers' focus has to be. We'll see. Now, focus, of course, has been an issue. They can do it for a few games. No problem. They could win 2 in a row for the 13th time this season. Which seems like a lot because usually you have longer win streaks, so you don't have the opportunity to just go 2 and 2. Lots of, like, you go look at Colorado. They had a 10-gamer and a 10-gamer and an 8-gamer. So, it's almost, what is that? A third of their season right there. And a lot of other games, they always go 2 wins in a row. But the Oilers, that elusive 3-game winning streak, other than one time, has not been easy for them to grab this year. Now, we're going to talk more about the Oilers as we get to our Oil Report, brought to you by Go Auto, cars, trucks, SUVs, you name it, they got it. Over 15,000 vehicles, 71 different locations, over 33 different brands. You dream it, you can drive it. GoAuto.ca. Landon Ferraro, former NHLer, pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440. Joined us, Landon, my man. How you doing?
Doing really good. How you doing?
I'm excellent. The Oilers, like, hey, if you could play that way every night, they'd have a lot better record. They can do it for 1 game or 2 games here or there. They can't do it for any extended period of time, at least not yet. Any reason why you think they could build off of Tuesday's game and have it the start of something that's more than just 2 good games?
The fact that they have 10 games left, like, I think that's going to settle in and really understand, like, they need their game to click. You can't expect it to just show up game 1 of the playoffs. First off, you're trying to make sure you're in there, and they're in a good spot. That's not the craziest of worries, but you want to have a good feeling going in. So, even just like watching them score the other night against Utah, like going in for the happy hugs, like that was very different than what we see. Like a lot more emotion. You can see that they're ramping up and they understand the meetings of the games. And I'm hoping that that'll bring the consistency that they've really lacked this year. Like, listening to you say they've only had 1 3-game winning streak. Like, I know that stat, but it's just crazy to hear.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of wild to think about. The Nurse Murphy, again, short sample size, but against Tampa Bay, Nurse and Murphy were excellent against Kucherov. And I know they had the very awkward, unfortunate double ricochet goal against, but they played the most minutes against Utah's top line and didn't give up anything against them. There's a chance here. You're looking like Murphy and Nurse could be what Edmonton really needs is a second pair D that you feel comfortable in, that they can take on more of the tougher minutes to free up Bouchard and Ekholm, and conversely McDavid, because Dickinson's going to play a lot with Murphy and Nurse against kind of the second, third, and fourth lines of the other team.
For sure. And, I think you had a tweet yesterday or today of talking about Nurse, just like he's best when he just plays within himself. And that's totally true, right? Like when he knows what his role is and he sticks to it, he's a really good defender. And now you put him with Murphy. And to me, it's an easy message. like, we don't care about you moving up the ice. Nothing gets past you. And if anything tries to, you be physical on it. You're hard to play against, and just make a good first pass. And you give them that simple job, two guys that want to do that and take pride in it. It does have a making of a really good pair that can shut down other teams' top lines simply off of, are they the fastest skaters? No. Are they like the best of everything? No. But like, Murphy's, what does he have, the most blocks since he's moved over in the trade in the NHL? Like, he's gotten in front of a lot. We know that Nurse will put his body on the line as well. Like, that's what you want out of that type of pairing.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not pretty, but it's highly important and it's highly effective, and they're going to need that from those guys. And with Dickinson, they're not going to play every shift together. I understand that, but they seem to play a lot. And now, obviously, it's still a few weeks until the Oilers are fully healthy, and you never know come playoff time. By the time Lazar and Frederick and Draisaitl get back in, who knows? Maybe someone else is banged up. But just humor me for a second, and let's assume everybody's healthy, and you could play, Hyman, Savoy, and McDavid, and then you could play Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, or Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Roslovic. Nugent Hopkins with Dickinson and Kapanen. Then you've got Henrique and Frederick, and then you've got Szymanski, Lazar, Jones, as well as Doc. Right now, I don't think Doc and Jones are probably in that equation. It probably comes down to Szymanski and Lazar. And when I watch how the coach uses Szymanski, I think it might be him.
Yeah, he likes him, right? And to me, it's like that's picking a bit more of the safer option in the sense of, like, he is good defensively. He's longer. He's got a good stick. He does move around the ice pretty well, but he's involved in the play. To me, Lazar is more of that, okay, what are we going to get out of it, but like, to what extent is his energy going to affect the game? Because when he's on and he's running around and hitting and playing that way, he does really bring a good positive impact. But when it's, like some games, those hits just aren't there. You're working just as hard, but the play moves a bit faster before you get there or something. So when that's not happening, you're looking at, okay, what else does he do? To me, Szymanski's the one that he's able to kind of just cover a lot. You know exactly what you're getting. He's a bit more defensive minded. Not that Lazar's looking for offense all over the place, but it's just built into him. That's, just like a lot of the German players are. I played in that country for 4 years. It's built into them in a lot of ways.
The Tristan Jarry, well, what did you make of his game and how it could potentially lead to him getting a few more starts?
Yeah, I mean, he played well. The first goal was a double hit. He has no idea where that is. To me, it was a good first step. At the end of the day, like, he needs to put a couple of these starts together, and the biggest thing, just coming out with results. But at the same time, he made some really good saves the other night. He looked somewhat confident in there, and again, to me, it's just the first start right here. Like, as soon as Ingram was, given the starter role from Knobloch the couple weeks ago, like, to me, that was this new start line, and this was Jarry's first, win out of that, and good game. Now he needs to put a couple more together to get himself, just more into Knobloch's head of a real option going into playoffs. Because, as it doesn't matter who your starter is game one of the playoffs. That can quickly change, and then you go on a run, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that's true. Do you think he's salvageable? Do you think he can be a reliable goalie for them?
I find it hard in some sense, because it's with the Oilers, like, it goes one of two ways, right? Like, we get a really good lockdown or like shutdown type style, and yeah, I think he can play and win for that team. But when the Oilers start to press a little bit more and they let the game open up, and it's more couple chances for the Oilers and a good chance against, that makes me nervous in that type of environment with Jari.
Yeah, no, that's valid. Looking around the league, Landon, you see, Colorado, there's a little bit of a hiccup, but they're back on track, and Dallas isn't going to catch them. But you go out east, and one of your former organizations, Detroit, they lose to Ottawa. Now Ottawa, Sanderson's out. They got horrible news. Shabbat is out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken wrist. Nick Jensen is still out. They got 5 guys, defensemen, that are out, but they managed to get a win, and more importantly, their goalie really won them the game. I don't know if you saw the game, but Allmark saves on Larkin late in that third period were outstanding and literally game savers. But like 1 game, 2 games, you can do it. The Sens got that huge win, but if they don't get Sanderson back here quick, I think it's going to be too much to ask the rest of those defensemen. Basically, defensemen kind of like number 6 through 11 on your team to get you to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's asking a lot, right? Like, you can slide one of those guys in and they could easily, just slide in and play those minutes, and you won't notice a big difference. It's tough to watch, honestly, with Ottawa, because for the majority of this season until recently, their team has played very good, and their goalies could not make a save.
Nope.
Like, they should already be so far in the playoffs that this isn't an issue. But now, like you said, Allmark has, put it together a bit more. He makes some big saves the other night, yet they now have no defense. And that was, that was a really strong point of their team. Puck movers, big guys. Even a Jensen, I played with him for a few years, like a really good skating first pass defenseman. Like, all of those pieces, they miss heavily. And I don't know how long like you said, how long can you take on water like that and not have it the dam just fully blow up?
Yeah, well, it is. But you know what? Maybe the goaltender Allmark said, "Guys, I cost us a lot of games early. Now it's on me. I'll win us some games." Because
I'm sure they'd be okay with that.
Yeah, very much so. They would be. I was looking up some numbers today across the NHL, and not a huge surprise to me, but most of the better skating teams are also playoff teams. Now, Dallas is an exception to that, but 8 of the top 9 skating teams in the East are in the playoffs or right outside the playoffs. In the West, the top 7 teams are all in the playoffs. Dallas, of course, is an exception to that. 6 of 7. LA's in 9th place right now, just behind Nashville. When you watch the Stars play, and I know some people texted, "Hey, what about Florida?" Well, Florida was 12th last year. They were still a playoff team and in the top 12. They obviously weren't as quick as Colorado or Edmonton, but obviously they had a lot of depth. And speed is just one factor. But when you look at Dallas being that low as where they are, do you think that's a concern? Because the Boston Bruins are actually 31st in speed, and by quite a far margin. Do you think Boston or Dallas, do you see something in Dallas in how they play that their lack of speed isn't an issue?
Well, I mean, their positioning, the way that they play really well as a group of 5 on the ice. But, where you said, do you see where that can be an issue in the playoffs? Like, the biggest thing to me, you can be a really well-oiled team together, and you're through the regular season, because you'll be hitting a lot of teams that are playing in their peaks and valleys, right? And you're just consistent through it. And I feel like that's a lot of what Dallas is. But the big part is when the game tightens up in the playoffs and there is a mistake, trying to recover from that is the big issue, right? Like, where you have that extra second in the regular season, you don't. And so I think that's where, when you look in the past seasons, I'd be curious to see those numbers from the past couple of years with Dallas as well. But, like, you look at some of the playoff series and you'll see where they get into some trouble off of turnovers, off of things, and they can't recover off of it. And so, I mean, I can see that, but a big part, if you're going to be the slower team, is you can't break as a system, right? Like, a Minnesota back in the day playing the trap, they weren't going to be fast, but they could outweight everyone. And that's the tough part.
Yeah. I'm just, as we speak, I'm trying to find the Stars from last year. and whether, because Edmonton, even last year, I know a lot of people, they're pretty slow, but they still overall were a top 10 team in the.
But see, the thing with me last year with Edmonton was they didn't, they don't have a ton of fast skaters on that team, but when they played the way they wanted and designed to, they moved the puck extremely well with support. So they didn't need to be individually fast. They played fast as a team.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm looking at it now. So last year, Edmonton had 1,927 bursts of 20 to 22. The Dallas Stars had 1164. They actually, that's how much the Stars have this year with 11 games to go. So that is, that to me is kind of a surprising number when you look at it to say, where are the Stars going to be? And because Edmonton's last year was quicker than them. I'm going to try to find what the playoffs were, because that might even be better.
While you're looking at that, like if you think about it though, so like I talked about it on the defensive side of like trying to recover when the mistakes made in the playoffs. Well, on the offensive side too, that mistakes made, that gap's even smaller. The next player is going to be there and support on the defensive side. So that burst is everything, right? The couple steps and make the play or the shot. Edmonton is faster. They're able to get that done more often.
Yes. Looking at it, so Dallas, now Edmonton obviously played an extra series, but Edmonton had 598 bursts of 20 to 22 miles an hour in the playoffs last year. The Stars had 365. And so a pretty significant drop-off from Edmonton, because Edmonton wasn't going to have, if we go just on average, Edmonton was around 150, give or take, per series. Now, obviously, if you play more games, that would impact it. But, yeah, they've always been a quicker team than Dallas. And so that's why when I look at the Stars this year in the playoffs, if they have to face Colorado in the second round, and the Avs are quicker than the Oilers. The Oilers are the second fastest team. The Avs are the quickest team. I think that's a terrible matchup for Dallas.
It's a tough one. And again, I think it would be a lot like last year where they need Rantanen to take over and win some games. Like they're going to need their stars to do their job and be able to but make up a bit of that difference, right? And pull momentum, because if you're playing Colorado, like McKinnon is going to create emotion and momentum in their home rink. Can you combat that with Rantanen grabbing and scoring a big goal? Like it's playing on the emotions that can even that up a bit more.
Yeah. Landon, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk to you again.
Yep. Have a good one.
There you go.
You listen to the Jason Gregor Show, presented by
Analyst here on Sports 1440 will return. It is Thirsty Thursday. Up next, a bevy of choices coming to your way on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold till the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Smart, connected, community driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Coming up, of course, orders tonight around 7:40. Puck drop from the Fortress in Vegas. The orders taking on the Golden Knights. Connor Ingram will get the start. Now, maybe, you know what? We got something for you to join. Who doesn't like joining a club? Everybody wants to feel part of a club. Well, you got just a pretty cool club. You can join if you like it. Can't be a fun sponge, though. It's the only thing. So get to Thursday brought to you by Sherbrook Liquor, 2 locations, southeast on 50th Street, 90th Avenue, and, of course, the original location, St. Albert Trail and 118th Avenue. Your best selection in the city, bar none, when it comes to unique beers from any part in the world, cocktails, wines, and everything non-alcoholic. If you're like, you know what, I'm done with the beers, I don't drink it anymore, no problem. If you like the flavor, you like tastes, they got it all from cocktails, beer, and more, and wine, non-alcoholic at Sherbrook Liquor. As Stephen Bazan joins us once again. Steve, my man, how you doing?
Doing good, Jason. How are you doing?
Excellent. So you got a club.
We do. We have a club. We talked a lot about beer on the show, but I don't think we ever mentioned our beer club before. So I thought we would feature a little sneak peek of what's coming up in the April beer club and talk about how things work a little bit. We've been running this club since I've been at Sherbrook, so over 15 years now. And it's basically what it comes down to is, if you pay attention to craft beer at all, it's so hard to keep up. We get every single week, there's new beers that are coming out. Typically, like a regular week, there's about 10 to 15 new beers. On a heavier week, I've seen over 50 new beers hit the shelves in just any given week. So it moves at such a fast pace. There's all these trends and different flavors going on. And the beer club is just a way to kind of slow things down a little bit for me to go through and pick out some of my personal favorites. So typically stuff that's brand new into the province, stuff that's limited edition that you can't, like sometimes some of these beer club selections, they don't even hit the shelf regularly. So you have to be part of the club in order to taste it. So yeah, it's really exciting. You know, you might find your favorite new beer. I try to like challenge people a little bit too. Like each month there's we offer about 6 to 8 different selections each month, and I like to pick a wide array of styles. So we usually, you know, start with something lighter and goes up to something darker and like just everything in between. So if you aren't an adventurous drinker, it may not be the club for you, but if you're looking to try something new and push the boundaries a little bit and just find something new, this is the one for you. So I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek today.
All right. So we're going to start out with Song Dynasty. It's a jasmine rice lager.
Yeah. So like I said, I like to introduce things. I like to pick beers that are, you know,
Are these going to be like, are these on
it's pretty, you know, I like to start, you know, nice and accessible, more traditional styles.
Okay.
So this is a pale lager, and it's based on a sort of sub-style of lager called a rice lager, which, as the name suggests, it uses some rice in the mash bill, in addition to the barley and different grains that you normally find in
that's just like a tame kind of normal beer.
Yeah, totally. And this one, like, I really love this brewery. They're Polyrhythm, local Edmonton brewery.
All right.
Chelsea Tessier is the head brewer there. She started out as a home brewer here in Edmonton and became one of the most highly regarded home brewers in Canada, winning a ton of awards and different things, and started this brewery about 3 years ago. And they're one of my favorites right now. And so this is a collaboration with the Lingnan restaurant, which is just an institution here in Edmonton.
I've been
Chinese
there, buddy.
food.
It is.
Yeah.
If you like Chinese food, yes, you should try it.
So super cool. So they use different types of rice varieties in it, which just adds a crispness and sort of dry finish to it, but then a little bit of jasmine tea to kind of make it a little more floral and add a different complexity to it. So it's a pale lager, easy drinking, but it's got that little something extra to it.
All right.
So yeah. So moving on now. So
now we've got the Silly.
So the Silly Brewing, this is out of Belgium.
It's Belgian. I don't even have tasted it.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of people just think it's, you know, a goofy name, but Silly is actually a village in Belgium where the brewery is located, just outside Brussels. And this is a Belgian wheat style, or like a wit.
There's just something about Belgian beers, man. They're just so smooth.
This is
flavorful.
This is sort of a lot of people know Hoegaarden. It's sort of in that style. So a Belgian wit, it's made with wheat, has coriander and orange peel.
I like it.
But like, I don't want to exaggerate, but this is probably my favorite Belgian wit that I've ever tasted myself.
No, that is honestly, like, it's hard to describe because it doesn't have like some crazy flavor. It's just really smooth, and like, it tastes like a beer, but like a classy beer. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. It's like restrained and nuanced, lots of different flavors, but it's still super refreshing.
Yeah,
too.
no aftertaste. Oh,
no. And it's just got that like full texture to it and everything. It's delicious. So they're pretty new into the Western Canadian market.
You want to, boys and girls, if you are a beer connoisseur, go get a Silly. It is damn good.
So that's our Belgian selection. So now take a look at this one. This is a hazy,
double dry hopped Widowmaker.
Yeah. So Backcountry out of Squamish, BC. So Widowmaker, the regular Widowmaker is their flagship IPA.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the most, I think, underrated IPAs that we have in the entire store. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's one of my favorite IPAs. But this is a little tweak on it. So this is a really limited edition one. This is, like I said before, this is one you won't find on the shelf right now. I just have some set aside for our beer club members. And the thing that makes this different is they take their Widowmaker, their flagship IPA, but then they basically increase the hops by 100%.
But it's not too hoppy though.
No,
honestly, it's not.
And you'll see the DDH on there, or it might say double dry hops.
Yes.
So that's
like, it's a little hoppy, but not.
It's hoppy. You notice it way more in the aroma and the flavor, but it doesn't impart that bitterness to it. That's because the dry hopping is what they do. They add the hops earlier on in the brewing process. Normally you add them later on, like towards the end of the fermentation, but this happens during the fermentation. So it just imparts those aromas and flavors, but no bitterness. So it's just like, man, 5 Alive juice, basically.
Yeah, it is. That's actually, you know what? I used to joke. I used to call it Deli Sank because that was the French version of it.
Oh yeah,
well, not French version, but just what Five Alive on the other side of the can was Deli Sank. I always call it that.
Yeah, but it's got that pineapple.
Oh yes,
fruit sort of thing.
Very good.
Yeah. So moving on now, another Edmonton brewery, Blind Enthusiasm. We went fancy with this one.
Yes, this is a nice bottle. One Night in Sicily.
One Night in Sicily. It has a cork and a cap to it, so I had to really get it.
It's got a cork on a beer bottle.
Oh yeah, totally. So this is a Belgian
really
style.
Classy. I do like that a little darker.
Yeah,
like darker. An orange amber.
So this is a really unique style. So it's modeled after the Lambic style in Belgium, which is like a spontaneously fermented style ale. So you'll notice it's very, very tart.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Super tart. So that's a trademark of the style. The head brewer there at Blind Enthusiasm actually did a lot of work with some of the considered the best breweries in the world in Belgium and helped them with blending and kind of learn from the masters of this style. So this is like these spontaneously fermented or mixed fermentation style beers. This is a total game changer. This is like, if you haven't experienced something like this before, it just changes your perspective on what beer is. Like, it's just so
it is really tart.
Yeah, really, really tart, super complex. It's you treat it more like a fine wine. Like you compare it with foods. You really you serve it in a wine glass. But Blind Enthusiasm are considered, and some pretty heavy hitters. There's a guy who wrote the World Atlas of Beer, which is one of the most highly regarded sort of reference books on beer. He said unquestionably Blind Enthusiasm is one of the best breweries in Canada. So it's a really special, for this sort of style.
Well, it's definitely classy. I like that it comes in a cork, so you can kind of feel it. I will say the first sip kind of hits you with the tartness, but after you have a few, it's not nearly as it doesn't knock you as much.
Yeah, they age it in these Sicilian Marsala barrels, which is like a Italian fortified wine, sort of like similar to port or sherry. So the beer has been aging for 2 years inside these Sicilian Marsala barrels. Oh, wow. It's fancy.
Okay, now we got a little color to wrap it up.
Yeah, now we're going into the darker end of the spectrum. So this one, with the beer club, I like to feature a lot of local Alberta breweries, but I also like to expand things a little bit and look internationally. So this is Koedo. It's a Japanese craft brewery.
It's a black lager.
I don't think
I've ever had a black lager.
Yeah. So it's sort of modeled after a Schwarzbier style, which is a traditional German style. Oh, this one's called Shikoku, which is essentially like onyx is sort of like, that's loosely what it's translated to. So just a really, really black color. But again,
it looks like a stout, but tastes like a lager completely.
Yeah, it is dark.
Weird.
But it is surprisingly, like, a lot of people don't know, when people think of beer and Japan, they'll think of the big names like Asahi and Sapporo and that sort of thing. But they have a really, really vibrant craft beer scene there, and a lot of really cool stuff. We don't get a lot of it shipped to Canada, but when we do, it's always like remarkable. And this is one of my favorites for this style as well. So
I still can't get over that. I'm looking at it, like, it is really black. And it looks like anybody out there drinks stout. That's what it looks like, but it does not taste like a stout.
Yeah.
It literally tastes like a lager.
Yeah, it's got that crisp finish to it, but still that like nice round roasty character to it. So a ton of flavor.
Roasty is a very good word.
Roasty, yeah. Yes. It is fantastic. They use like 10 different malts in there. It's really, really good. And then
the last one, now is this going to be sweet? The name of it is a Cinnamon Toast Crunch Brown Ale. The devil went down to Geary.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
Geary, that's the street that this brewery is on in Toronto. So the brewery is Blood Brothers.
Okay.
We just got about 12 different beers from these guys that the can looks very similar to this. It's kind of like this, if you see the can, like this sort of gothic, almost like black metal looking can. And these are all collaboration brews with Blood Brothers and some other international breweries, other breweries across Canada.
It's kind of cinnamony. It's got a very unique taste.
Yeah, so Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They add lactose, some milk sugar, vanilla, tons of cinnamon to it. And it's a brown ale is the base beer, and it's 7%, so a little stronger for a brown beer, but man, it's like, you just smell it. It's like a total dessert in a glass. And so kind of, you could see the range. We started with, that really light rice lager, and then ended with this like.
Now, how many
richer-
Stillies do you have in stock?
Sillies right now we have we have 24 bottles on site, but most of those are saved for beer club members. So they'll probably be.
And how
gone
do you
for-
join the beer club?
So you could join the beer club, either come down to either store, the original location or Otwell location, and one of our staff will help you sign up there at the till, or we have QR codes that you could scan and you could go online and sign up. Or just, if you don't want to come down to the store, you could also sign up through our website. You go on the homepage there, sherbrookliquor.com. Scroll down about halfway, you'll see a clubs link, and you can click on there. We have a wine club called Fantastic Voyage, and also this beer club.
And then
as
you'll
well.
get kind of notes that say, hey, we got these beers coming in.
Yeah. Every
All right.
month you get the first of the month, the beers are ready to go. We do delivery, home delivery, or you can come to the store and pick up. You'll get tasting notes, all that sort of thing. We also try to, have a few surprises every once in a while, just have like an exclusive release that's just for beer club members, or I want to do some more events and things in the tasting room. So I want to get some more in the works for later this year. That will be for beer club people.
Buddy, beer club is something I could be a club of. Especially if it gets the silly beer, because I'm telling you, that's one of the best tasting beers I've had.
I would agree.
Really good, buddy. And also, I love the Coedo. The black lager, very different, but very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, one of my favorites for that.
Not a surprise, buddy, but good selection by you today.
Oh,
so I appreciate it.
glad you
Oilers
liked
winning
it.
tonight?
I think they're going to pull one out tonight. Yeah. I think
Well,
they're
2 in a row is not a big deal. We know everyone's like, they can win 2 in a row, no problem. It's elusive number 3.
Yeah.
Can they do that? We'll see.
We'll see.
Well, speaking of the Oilers, when we return, a gentleman who is a main reason why the Oilers are still in Edmonton, Cal Nichols, will join us in studio. It was 30 years ago where the OEG, the EIG Investors Group, where it kind of unofficially began. So we'll go back 30 years ago to how it started, and how so much changed in the first 2 years. Because what it started as wasn't what it ended as at all. I don't even think that was the expectation. So Cal's going to join us in studio next after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. You can bundle them together or save more at legacyheating.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. Oilers down in Sin City set to take on the Golden Knights. Puck drop 7:30. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker gets going at 6. Elsewhere, Kings meet the Canucks. Flames host the Ducks. Got the Capitals and the Mammoth. Jets host the Avs. Devils in Nashville. Blues taking on the Sharks and the Wild in Florida. Ottawa Senators hosting the Penguins tonight. They'll do so without Thomas Chabot, as he's going to miss 4 to 8 weeks, possibly into the postseason, should they make it after undergoing surgery on his right arm. The surgery was required after taking a cross-check from Rangers captain JT Miller on Monday. In the association tonight, just 3 games. Knicks taking on the Hornets, Pistons, and Pelicans, and the Kings in Orlando. And Major League Baseball today, full slate of games. Brewers beating up on the White Sox 14-1. The Nationals up on the Cubbies 8-4. Twins trail the Orioles 1-0. Red Sox and the Reds, Astros, Angels both scoreless. Phillies lead the Rangers 2-0, and the Padres at home trail Detroit 6-0 in the bottom of the third. Later tonight, Mariners up against the Guardians, and the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers earlier today. Tough outing for Paul Skeens. He didn't even make it out of the first inning as the Mets beating up on the Pirates 11-7. Coming up next year on Sports 1440, a man who helped save the Oilers, Cal Nichols, in studio for the entire hour. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell.
Afternoon, how are you?
And boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780-all-7.
Jason Gregor.
Guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you need it immediately with no overtime rates, if you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
From the first face-off to the final, Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk with live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows. We bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7.
Yeah. Well, do that.
Edmonton Sports
Well, speaking of the orders,
don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
On the rocks, the party never stops. Check it out. Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jeff Brav and 118th.
Being a living organ donor is a noble, life-changing act. But there's more than one way to be a hero. Join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence. As an employer, you can give the gift of time and remove financial barriers to make employee donations easier. You'll earn recognition, a raised corporate profile, employee satisfaction, and of course, be a huge part in saving lives in desperate need. Support the sacrifice of living donors. Discover how to join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence program today at kidney.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area Adjusted and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people that know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, Thursday afternoon continues on. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Oh, man, it's going to be a long season for the White Sox. They're getting pounded already, 14-1 by the Brewers. Brewers should be good, and the White Sox are supposed to be bad, and they're living up to their preseason prognostication through one game. Ouch, that's a tough way to start the season, 14-1. Eek. Ugly, ugly stuff. I'm Jason Gregor. It's the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. And today, very special guest joins us, our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints as they wrap up the regular season tomorrow night and Saturday, 7 o'clock Friday, 6 o'clock Saturday down at the Thompson Family Arena in Spruce Grove. And then it's playoffs, baby, for the BCHL. Get your tickets, sgsaints.ca. And we are joined in studio by a gentleman who 30 years ago today decided, hey, you know what? I know some people. We're going to try to help out Edmonton and the hockey team. And lo and behold, who knew what that original meaning would turn into? Because, of course, Cal Nichols became one of the main owners and one of the spokesmen for the Edmonton Investors Group, who eventually purchased the Edmonton Oilers from Peter Pocklington and really saved the Oilers and kept them in Edmonton because Les Alexander was lurking and trying to move the team to Houston. So, Cal, thanks so much for coming in studio, man. How you doing?
Thanks for asking me. I'm doing good.
Oh, it's great. Well, we ran into each other this past weekend. Of course, there was like a memorial for John down at the Ball Diamond, which was an area near and dear to his heart. And his wife, Marta, of course, had everybody down there. So it was lots of fun and got to hear some stories about John, which is great. Even though he's been gone 2 years, definitely still miss him, especially I know you guys had a really good relationship. And John was a huge mentor of mine. And we worked together and a guy I grew up listening to, eventually be a coworker. It's kind of crazy for me. So it was awesome to see. And then as we got talking, you were like, well, yeah, 30 years ago is when the ticket drive. I'm like, okay, we got to get in the studio to talk about this. So let's kind of circle back to 1996 and that kind of when you got there was a group of you who got together, and originally it was just to say, okay, we got to try to sell some tickets to keep the team in Edmonton.
Okay. I was just sitting in my office one day and I get this call from a guy by the name of James Cumming, who I had done some business with. And he said to me, there's a meeting going on down at the Mayfair this afternoon, and the NHL is proposing some assistance to 3 Canadian clubs, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and they're trying to gather some guys together to help out with this. Would you want to come along with me? So I agreed to go, and that was the beginning of it.
So you go down there thinking, okay, because you were with Gasland, of course, at that time, right? And you obviously had a good relationship with the Oilers. Glenn Anderson did a lot of the Gasland commercials. So obviously there was a natural there. Plus, you're proud Edmontonian and you knew the importance of the team. But so what was the initial goal? Just to try to sell what? Like, did you have to sell 100 tickets? What was the responsibility?
First of all, 10 years before that, I had a good friend, Doug Cumming, who was the president of Acklands Canada. And we were the ones that kind of founded the Glenn Anderson Cross Cancer Golf Tourney. So, so that has now gone 40 years and has raised something like $13 or $14 million. So a lot of these relationships started way back at that time. And anyway, when they had that meeting at the Mayfair, it was to explain exactly what the offer was, or the conditions that the NHL had set out, and it was called the CCAP, Canadian Currency Assistance Program.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to bring a bunch of the corporate Edmonton or whoever else to volunteer to go out there and sell tickets. So that was what that meeting was about. And then shortly after, there was another meeting over at Northlands in the restaurant upstairs. And that was to set up the what they called CCAP.
Yeah.
Not CCAP, the photo, Friends of the Oilers.
Right.
And so Peter had picked a guy by the name of Eric Geddes to be the chairman of it. And he was a retired accountant. And he was one of those guys that he was an academic. He lectured at the university, very much a numbers guy, Order of Canada. And anyway, at that meeting, there was maybe as many as 35 or 40 people from many different sectors of the business community in Edmonton.
Yeah.
So what they did there was they designated each person assigned a sector to go and solicit for Oiler tickets. So mine was called gas stations. And frankly, I didn't even know what gas stations meant at that time, because we're already moved into convenience stores and car washes and stuff like that. And then there'd be car dealers and accountants, and there's a doctor's group. So anyway, that was the start of it all. And I, right from the beginning, just kind of wondered about doing it that way, because to me, when you're out campaigning for something, the hardest people to sell to are your competitors. Why would they want to help you?
Right.
But what I did learn years before that in small town running a business is that reciprocity was a big issue. And if you were out to do some charity thing, you went and you asked the people that were your suppliers, as an example.
Yeah.
And so you had your own network. And so I went away from that, and we were all given order forms, and we're going to meet regularly once a week, report back how sales were going. And so at the outset, I knew that that was kind of a different way to start than I would have done it. So I put together our own group in the West End, business neighbors and people I'd done business with, and we called ourselves Seats. Save Edmonton, acquire tickets soon. That's what we called our little group. We were made up of my friend Doug. John Anderson was a big insurance guy in town. Played music at a lot of restaurants. Jimmy chopping over at Ray's.
Yeah, Jimmy, great guy.
It was, oh goodness, Tony DeFord, just Russ Murray was another one. There was about 10 or 15 of us. We agreed to meet there twice a week and report back. And so everybody was given a ticket book, and away we went. So as time went along, we were putting some numbers together. Go back to the central group, and everybody'd report. But a funny thing, that group started to shrink because people were not having a lot of success trying to sell tickets in their own sector.
Right.
So we were probably the only ones that were bringing in significant numbers, because to sell 6,500 extra season tickets,
that's a lot.
That's a lot of work. And it was just not tickets, it was dasher boards, and it was Sky Suites and so on.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go along in time, and it was very, very slow, very sluggish, very slow moving. It wasn't an easy task by any means, because first you had to know the product you were selling, why you were doing it, had to have had your ducks in a row, and you had to have influence with the people you were asking one way or another, your business or whatever.
And when you started in 96, that was at the end of a 4-year run where the Oilers had missed the playoffs, right? So, and I know how, like, everybody wants to jump on when you're a winner. It's a little bit harder to convince people to want to support a team that's struggling.
Well, sometimes winning all the time is a bit of a curse, because people take it for granted and they just want to wait till the finals. So I remember a game in 97, I think it was, third round of the playoffs against Winnipeg. We were losing the series 3-1, and there was 13,000 people in the seats. And anyways, it turned out we won the series, won the cup that year. But it didn't look good to have, not being sold out, and the tickets weren't that expensive either at that time.
No.
So anyway, then the team started losing, and attendance just got worse from there. So the team was really struggling financially. There was no doubt about it. And there was a lot of willingness in the community to go do what they could to help out. So anyway, we move along in time, and the whole exercise was kind of struggling a bit. And one day, Bill Comrie and Dennis Urquhart come in to see me, and they said, "Hey, you and your group are the ones that are really making it happen of the whole community. Would you mind becoming the chairman of the whole photo group for the whole organization?" So I agreed to do it, and then which meant I just expanded out geographically, and anyway, make a long story short, we did reach our goal. 6,500 seats. Sold all the dasher boards and most of the suites. So I thought that was the end of it for me.
And that timeline was was that from like March until September? When did you get all done?
Yeah, it was getting close to the end of the summer when we finished. Can't remember exactly what date, but it was like a 6-month project.
6-month project. Like so now we're into the 96-97 season, when the Oilers actually got back in the playoffs after 4 years.
Right.
And so you felt, okay, you know what, we did our job, good for us. We helped, we did our part. They're going to keep the team. And then when did you realize that, well, maybe there's bigger problems here than just having to sell 6,500 seats?
Well, it was not long after the drive that, I was around it enough to kind of pick up bits and pieces of what was going on. And I sensed there were some problems. And so I already early on started thinking about how is the community going to come together? This is a whole different project than a bunch of guys going out selling tickets.
Yes.
This is about going out and asking guys to write checks of significance to try and keep the team. So I kind of was thinking through how would we go about this? And because of the way things were going in the NHL, there was a lot of turnover of teams because they were losing money. Some of the richer cities were surviving deep pockets, and they would put more money into it. So it wasn't a very rosy picture from a business perspective. So and yet I really sensed the importance of it. And what we observed during the ticket drive was Winnipeg and Quebec lost their teams.
Yes.
And we had all the videos of the people in the teams waving to the crowds last game, people crying, the whole bit. So I knew
that was a good motivator to come into a sales pitch. You don't want this to happen here.
We use that clip a lot in advertising. So anyway, then of course it started to become a public issue that yes, there were problems, and the ATB was the financier. They were making moves to realize on their security, and so I started digging a little bit deeper on how, talking to people, and I ran across Werner Baum, who was the CFO for the Oilers during all of Pocklington's time.
Okay.
He'd left there, but he was good enough to spend time with me going through formats that the NHL used and each team used, the financials, balance sheets, and, sort of all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he also was not gone that long and knew a lot of the actual numbers as they pertain to the Oilers. So this was a big help, and he helped me a great deal putting a pro forma together.
Yeah.
And I, at that point, had no idea how I was going to approach this whole thing. But my first thought was if we just took a whole bunch of people and not necessarily write big checks, so created $1 million. We didn't call them shares; they were just units. We called them.
Yeah.
And so when it became public, then I started beating the pavement and making calls. And same thing as with the ticket drive, you go to the people you know first.
Yeah.
And it was a totally different audience or crowd than there was during the ticket drive. For sure.
Well, yeah, there's lots of people that could say, you know what, hey, I can afford 2 seats to help you out here. It's a lot different as I need $1 million or $5 million, depending on the investment.
And also, while we were doing that, it's more than just raising capital by the team. You had to think about money for sponsorships because it takes a lot of money to run a team, especially at that time. So I was pretty consumed doing this and started to get some progress. And then along the way, I'd have to adjust, and because it was going so fairly slow. And some of the guys that would commit to $2 million or $3 million, they were willing. We needed to even get more out of them. So I thought one day, if we put a target of $5 million, that would be an automatic board seat. So that was a boost at that time. So these are the things you had to do as we moved along.
And so the original people on the board seat was yourself, Bruce Saville, right?
Jim Hole,
Gary Gregg,
yeah, and Ed Bean.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
And then there was a guy from Lloydminster.
I'll tell you about him in a minute. So as we moved closer to Christmas, we were in a bit of a stall again because I had knocked on every door that I was pointed to, and I went to a lot of the better known, I'll call them the wealthier guys in town.
Yeah.
But to my surprise, I got nowhere with them. And what I kind of figured out was that because of the history of the league and the finance and so on at that time, that they didn't want to be associated with failure. So they politely declined. So I was back to going to the real hockey fans and guys that could write a check for $1 to $5 million. And it got really sluggish before Christmas. And I go, man, I don't know where to turn next. We're somewhere around 35 million, trying to get to 60. So then one day, right after Christmas, had something, a good fortune kind of happened. Ron Hodgson, who had a Lloydminster connection by relationship, wanted to introduce me to Larry McKelkey, who had just sold an oil field equipment company. And so we agreed to a meeting at the Petroleum Club. This was January 5th of 1998.
Okay.
And he brought his accountant along, Bruce Pennick. And we met there, and it was one of those days I had a bit of a cold. I wanted to sort of, didn't expect that.
It's all good. That's just a fine, Cal. It's just a fine.
I can handle it.
Okay, no, I might have to up the fine then. I like it. No hesitation. I can handle it.
So anyway, we had the meeting, and everybody left, and took a few days, but following up on it, even Bruce, the accountant, wasn't sure what Larry, the client, was thinking. All he told him was, "Geez, I liked what I saw, and I like the Saskatchewan guys, so I'm interested in trying to help out. I think I'll put in 5." And Bruce didn't know whether he meant $5,000 or 500,000. So finally he called him. He said, "No, 5 million." So that was the beginning of a huge boost to us, because he went back to Lloydminster and he collected about 8 other guys that put in. Some guys shared $1 million. So there was about 8 of them altogether. And then he came back into the city to his contacts in the energy sector that he'd done business with.
Okay.
And a bunch more guys. So at the end of it all, with Larry and that group, they made up 25% of the capital we were raising. And that was the thing that allowed us to meet the deadline. The
Because you
NHL
went from 35 to 50 mil, basically.
Well,
right there.
it wasn't that quick, but boy, did that ever give us a big boost. And so that was where we got to March 13th of 1998.
Yeah, and that was one of the biggest press conferences. I want to talk about that. We're going to take a quick break. Cal Nichols joins us. It was 30 years ago where it started out just as a ticket drive, and then in less than 2 years later, they became the Edmonton Investors Group to purchase the team from Peter Pocklington and really save the NHL in Edmonton. It's I know maybe some of our younger audience doesn't know the story, and I think on the 30-year anniversary, it's good to talk about it. So we'll talk about that massive press conference coming up next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still don't care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No self-proclaimed titles, no iPads, no trips to Vegas or hockey jerseys, just a really good deal. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical Team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrook Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrook Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrook Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrook Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.32, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. It's Thursday, the Daily Grand. You can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. You wake up, boom, you got a G-Note every day. God, that'd be fun. So get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And we're joined in studio by a gentleman, of course, who is a major driving force behind the Edmonton Oilers remaining in Edmonton as part of the Edmonton Investors Group. It started out as a ticket drive in 1996, and then they quickly realized, like within a year later, like, oh, we got bigger problems here, so they had to raise the money. Ended up having, I think it was 38 owners as part of the original ownership group to purchase the team, and it was March 13th, 1998, when that was the press conference. I think that was the official sale day, Cal, and you'd done a lot of work. Now, you'd been an entrepreneur since you were 19 years of age and being involved in a lot of different businesses. But I have to think like owning a professional hockey team is a lot different. I love it. You brought in the name of all the guys. I should probably mention some of these names for sure. But you look at, coming in and being an entrepreneur, and then suddenly you're part of a group that owns an NHL team.
Quite unbelievable. But anyway, it's one of those things that happens in your life. I will never regret doing it because it meant so much to the city, and there was a lot of good times doing it. So build a lot of relationships, got to travel a lot. So I never for a minute regretted doing it.
Like I'm looking, like some of these names on the list are obviously people that been around. Like, you go from, and I don't want to, if I start naming one, then I got to name them all. It'd probably be too many. But you look at, like, there's lots of the people that are involved in that unfortunately have passed away now. But when you sold the team to Daryl Cates, there was still a fair amount of, and that was like, how do I say, like, you look and say, hey, what we built was very important. And now we're selling to someone who can maybe take it to the next level for us and keep the team here. He's another guy from Edmonton. So when you look back at like that press conference, what was kind of like, how was Gary Bettman throughout the whole thing for you?
You're talking about the first
sale, yeah, in 98.
I couldn't be more complimentary about the way he helped us, because after Winnipeg and Quebec City went through what they did, and the significance of the Canadian teams, the TV contract was really the only big one they had was in Canada. And so he just had his mind made up. He was going to pull out all the stops and not lose another Canadian team. So from once it became public, I was leading this thing. I was on the phone or met with him lots, and he did his best at all times to help out and steer, and as we were struggling to reach our goal, he didn't have much choice. He had to put a deadline in front of us because we were starting to get a bit complacent about, oh, well, there's no urgency here.
Yeah.
And he definitely wanted to get this done. And so kudos to him. I will always appreciate what he did to help us out.
And, so because it is fun. And Gary, to his credit, did admit that I think he learned a lot from seeing what it meant to the communities in Winnipeg and Quebec to lose their teams. And he felt like, you know what? I don't want to see that happen again on my watch.
Well, a lot of things happened along the way, but I remember one time during the lockout in 04-05, Gary was getting a lot of heat from all the other cities, the fans. Everybody was all over him. He was the problem and the reason that league was shut down. So he came to Edmonton, a planned trip, and he was going to speak at a breakfast in the Chamber of Commerce at the Westin Hotel downtown. So we get in there, and I'm not sure he knew what to expect, but once he was introduced, the whole crowd stood up and clapped and applauded him because they knew that he was working with us for all the right reasons to get cost certainty, to get revenue sharing and salary caps and all that stuff. And, as a result of that, that clip was on TV, got to many other cities in the league. And I think people had a little different view of what his job was and how he was going about it. But Gary had mentioned it to me many times. He really appreciated that about Edmonton and the way they got it. Our city figured out we were going to need everything that he was pitching, and that's how we were going to survive. So it was just one of those good memories I have about his involvement.
So that press conference, I still remember it. I wasn't even working in the media yet at that point, but I was a huge sports fan at the time, and it was massive for so many Edmontonians. Obviously, you guys and women who were part of that ownership group obviously took a lot of pride in it. But man, there's lots of Edmontonians that were just like, oh, like we got a team, and it was a big deal. And so, well, you mentioned that you guys purchased a team. There's lots of people at buying season tickets or doing whatever that played a small part, but a very big part of keeping the team here.
Yeah. Well, it takes everybody, even people that can't afford tickets. They can go and buy products from sponsors. So the way to support has no limit to it because everybody spends something one way or another. So, and all you got to do is look around at the way the community rallies around the team. And it's probably one of the premier brands in all of the NHL as far as I can see.
Yeah, well, it's doing pretty well for sure. It's been pretty lucky, of course. You go from the Gretzky, the Anderson, Messier eras, and now you got this McDavid kid and Draisaitl. It's not bad for sure. So when you purchased the team, Cal, what was the biggest learning experience? So once you sat in, now you're going to the governor's meetings and those things. What was like the biggest learning curve or eye-opening experience that you occurred in those first few years?
Well, the governor's meetings were obviously interesting, and to somebody that grew up in a little town in Saskatchewan to go to New York or Chicago, and particularly during the lockout year, we met at least once a month. Chicago was probably the preferred location because it was right in the middle of the continent.
Yeah.
And at that time, we could go a direct flight from Edmonton down and back. So anyway, getting to know all the rest of the governors, always in a big group like that, there are people you sort of can relate to. There's some that, they looked at us. These guys, most of them were billionaires. And what we were was a collection of lowly millionaires to them, sort of thing. And some of them, it showed. Others were much more gracious than that and appreciated the effort and the work that our community was putting in to keep the team in the league. So it was kind of all over the map.
Yeah, it must have been like such a different, like running a pro team to running other businesses, or is there a lot of similarities?
Well, it's a business, and if you could wind it back down to a small retail business, you could take it right back to running your own house. You have to take in more money than you spend, or it's not going to work.
Yeah,
and so all it changes is the size of it. So, and I found the meetings very structured, well run. Gary, he ran it with an iron hand. Like he was very good at it. He'd come out of the MBA at a high level, and he really he's been there 30 some years now.
Yeah,
and he had a vision of where he wanted the league to go, and sure as heck, his vision was on, and he knew what he wanted to do, how he wanted to get there. So it was good leadership. I give him lots of credit for that.
Cal Nichols joins us. Cal, talking about so you sit in there and you're one of the owners of representing Edmonton, and then there's owners from New York and LA and Chicago, and every city has different challenges and different things they want. How and so now that it's many years later, was there times where you just look like these guys really don't understand us and we don't understand them, or was there, because y'all own the sports team, but in every different market there's lots of different challenges?
We understood them more than they understood us. There was no doubt about that, because most of them never lived anywhere else other than a large city,
right?
And multiple pro sports teams. Most of those cities had one of each of all the major sports, so a very different ball game than we had. And they just looked at us, Winnipeg. It's the frozen north, and most of them never ever came here.
Right.
So all they could pick up was what we talked about or what they read or saw on TV and so on. So, but they also, at the same time, it's a business, and we were business partners, because whether we were big or small, we had to make a business work.
Yes.
And it was painful for a lot of at the time, the richer teams used to winning, because the more competitive we got, that meant they were going to lose something at some point. But in the end, when you reflect back on it, they're all making tons of money, more than they ever would have if they'd have stayed doing what they were doing.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. And so leading up, now you're 6-7 years into the ownership group, and then the lockout comes, and obviously for Edmonton, a salary cap was very beneficial, because the truth of the matter is you didn't have the funds to compete with New York and Detroit and Chicago to an extent, but more Colorado and Dallas, the big teams. And how contentious, or was the ownership group pretty on the same page, or were there the rich guy at the top team who said, "Who cares? Let's just get back playing here. We don't really care." Or did you find that most of the owners were on the same page?
You're talking about the owners of the league, or our owners, or both?
Yeah, like the owners of the league.
Well, with the number of teams that did not survive for economic reasons, Tampa Bay went through multiple owners, and there were other teams in the same boat.
Yeah.
And you can't increase value by having that sort of sitting beside you. That doesn't add value to your own product. So they knew, and that lockout would have happened 4 years earlier if it hadn't been for the Olympics in Japan.
Oh.
Because they did not want, and that was when they set up the Salt Lake City Olympics in 2002. And so if it hadn't been for that commitment they made to the Olympic Committee, that lockout probably would have occurred 4 years earlier. But anyway, we had to fumble away for 4 more years to get to where we needed to be. And with our own group, they were certainly behind it, because they're business guys. They could see what was going on. And when we got closer to the lockout, what we had done was first of all, we moved the AHL team here so that we still had pro hockey in Edmonton, the Roadrunners.
Yeah.
And what we had done is we put aside enough money and or revenue that if need be, we could hold out for 2 years. And hoping that it wouldn't turn out that way, but we were prepared for it. And the interesting thing is we were getting toward the end of the first year, it was the bigger, richer teams that were the ones said, geez, we got to get back to, we got to make a deal and get back to playing again, because they needed the cash flow for whatever their other businesses they were running. So that in itself was a very interesting thing.
What about your ownership group during that lockout year and the challenges of finances and often to have to lay off some staff members and different things like that? How was that? How much of a challenge was that just internally to keep everybody on the same page?
Well, it's all about communication, and we did everything we could to say, this is what's at stake. If we fail, there's going to be no job, or there's going to, so it was a trade-off, and I don't remember really getting that much pushback, because it was a buy-in by our owners, by our staff. Of course, we kept as many of the staff around because we still were running the AHL team, and so it wasn't that we laid a number of people off, really, but people knew what was at stake, and they were behind us.
And then, so you come out of the lockout the first year, and I still remember because I was hosting the show at night, and I remember when the Chris Pronger trade came down, because it occurred at 11 o'clock at night, and my show was 9 to midnight. We ended up going on air till like 3 in the morning because Oiler fans had spent like almost 2 decades of trading away all their best players.
Sure.
And now suddenly a superstar was coming to Edmonton, and, you bring in Pronger, and everybody knows what happened. They went all the way to the Stanley Cup final that year. And I don't know, Mike Pekka was part of that summer trade. And then you got Spacek and Rolison and a few other guys leading up to the trade deadline. But just, even as an owner of the team, because you're a fan of the game, like, how much more exciting was it finally coming back in and be like, God, we can actually compete now?
Were you at the press conference in the parking lot at the Oilers office?
Yes, I was.
That's when Chris and Pekka were introduced.
Yeah.
Well, that was an uplifting experience for the whole city, because they knew this was a big deal. And if you remember, Chris, when he was in St. Louis, I think his contract was like $10 million or something like that. But the salary cap just forced everybody to get rid of sellers and players. And so he ended up here at $5 million for what was supposed to be a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
Well, that was what the contract was.
Yeah.
But it was a big day.
Yeah, it was massive, really. And then the team's successful. So you go all the way to the Cup final. Everybody knows what happened, unfortunately. So that's the end of 2006. And, we talk about it in Edmonton. It was kind of like the 2007, unfortunately, on the ice was like the decade of darkness. But in the second year, so take us from 2006, you go to the Cup final. What led you, my understanding was Daryl Cates approached you guys originally. Were like, no, we don't want to sell. Walk us through how that negotiation went, because it occurred over numerous months, if not a year, right?
I mean, that's right. Yes, you're correct. He made an offer, and we had a meeting, and it was rejected, and he came back a second and a third time. By then, if you go back to the beginning of putting our group together, on average, we were an older group. There was several guys who were already in their 70s.
Yeah.
So move forward 8 or 9 years. And by this time, we'd had a few of them that had passed away.
Right. Yeah.
Not a few. It wasn't a big number, but it started to happen.
Right.
And then there was others that just simply, they did it. They had enough, and they just said, you know what, I'm ready to move on. And so then there was a division in our group, and the biggest issue ahead of us, because as we were going through the last few years, we made it very well known that we needed a new arena and wanted to be downtown.
Yeah.
And I went to Kansas City a few times. That's where the arena, or the sports venue builders were.
Yep.
And did a lot of planning. We had experts, so-called experts, come in and look at our city. This is about location, and we identified about 6 or 7 potential spots in town, and we had somebody from the outside in the business, knew what they were doing, look at it from 30,000 feet and put their opinion on it. So we went through all of that, and in the end, how we knew it was going to cost $500 million at that time to build a decent arena. And how are we going to raise that much money? Given when I look at our group and some people not there, some wanting out, and probably the only way we could have done it was through Northlands with the provincial government.
Okay.
And we just ran out of energy, and for the most part, and I talked to Daryl, and he had his ideas about how to go about doing it, and the amount of money behind it, and I just thought, for the good of the city, maybe we're not the right ones to do it the way we're set up. If we would have had maybe one in our group that was, in a equity position to take the lead big time, maybe. But the way we were, I saw an awful lot of work ahead, and could we do it or not? So that's how we came to the decision that we did.
And so, was it bittersweet making the sale, or was it like, you know what, I think we accomplished a lot, we saved the team here, and we're passing it on to the next generation?
It was both, no doubt about it. And but I guess all I can do now is it's almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
I look at what we got, and I doubt our group could have done what happened down in Ice District. And it was not just an arena, but it was all the other related towers that went up with it, and the economy that was built around it. So anyway, I think Edmonton ended up with probably something we would have struggled to do it that well.
Cal Nichols joining us. So Cal, you look at when you sold the team, because you were a fan before, you're part of, then you become an owner, then you sell the team. Are you the same type of fan after you're an owner?
Well, yes and no. I was really involved at the time. I got up every day, put a suit and tie on, and went to work, and basically as a volunteer. So I got I enjoyed a lot of it. I met a lot of wonderful people, traveled quite a bit. But all good things come to an end, and by this time I was getting to be 65-ish, and I said, you do eventually run out of energy. It turned out I probably could have done it for a while longer, but when you put it all in a pot and mix it around, you say, what's really the best for everybody? And so I just accepted the way it happened.
What is the thing maybe you miss the most about owning the team?
Well, I liked the ability to go down to the arena, go to practice, and spend time with a lot of the media guys that I got to know very well, and a little bit with the players, although that wasn't a big deal to me. But the management group, God, we had some wonderful people working for us, and so not only did they work for us, they became friends. And so, and that went on for a while after, but, things change and people move and leave their spots and so on. Going to governor's meeting was a very once in a lifetime experience.
Right.
But even some of the governors, or the owners, they would back away and they'd send somebody else to the meetings, because you only do it so many times, and sometimes you just got better things to do.
Yeah, well, no, that's totally fair, and I think it's really important for our audience, Cal. I really appreciate coming in, because it for fans out there, I know the owners right now, for some fans, are frustrating because they can't win more than 3 in a row, but you know what? I'll tell you right now, you can talk to people in Quebec City and others who would die, to get a team again. And it's you'd much rather have a team that you care about, and you love it when they win, and you get fired up when they lose, but it keeps you coming back to watching the games, or listening to the games, or going to the games, or buying your jersey. And Cal and his group, and I don't mind actually doing this, because I think it's very important this many years later. But Dave Addy, Neil Allen, Jacob Ambrosius, Manuel Balsa, Ted Barrett, Ed Bean, Gord Buchanan, Bill Butler, Michael Dalton, the Edmonton Journal, funny enough, was one of the owners, Ernie Elko, Gary Gregg, the late Don Hamilton, Ron Hodgson and Tom Mason, Jim Hole, Brian Herniak, Gerald Knoll, Chris Kuchar, Larry McKelkey, Todd McFarlane, Tim Melton, Art, is it Mitchell? Mahalson and Art, may rest in peace. Cal Nichols, of course, Al Owen, J.R. Dick Payne, Harold and Kathy Rosen, Bruce Saville, Dale Sheard, Simon Sochatsky, Barry Weaver, Jim Woods, Jim Zanello, and then there was the Lloydminster Consortium of 5, which Marcel and Roger Roberge, Brian Nilsson, Rusty Stallwick, Keith Weaver, and Dick Kulf. All of those guys involved and all those women. So thank you, because all those people, you know what, you probably never heard some of those names. Lots of the guys, they like being behind the scenes. They didn't want to be front and center all the time, but you all collectively came together at a time to save hockey in Edmonton. And I think I speak on behalf of everybody who's a sports fan and who's an Oilers fan to say thank you for keeping the team here and stepping up and obviously moving on when you felt it was the right time to move on. It was bigger than you guys, and you did a great thing. And you know what? Hopefully, Cal, because I know you're still a diehard fan. That man, it's been a tough few years for Oilers fans. Jeez, you know, since you were part of the ownership group, or since 3 Stanley Cup Finals, which is still pretty damn good. Like that's what I tell everybody. I said
one period.
Yeah, it was an unreal run for like 2 months until the last day. Then you're like, God, this sucks. But every other day was like awesome. Right? There was way more good days than bad days in a Stanley Cup run.
And I guess in closing, I just got to say, we've got the greatest fans in the world, and a bit lucky in a way that we only have one Major League sports team, so we don't have to split it up with the NBA and the Major League Baseball and so on. So I'm sure it's going to be here for a long time, long after I'm gone.
Well, Cal, you know what? Hey, man, thank you. Thank all the members of the EIG. And everybody who played a part in it. It's 30 years goes by pretty quickly. I know you didn't officially purchase the team until March, but when Cal was telling me the story, I'm like, well, it really began. It's not like the sale happens. There's so much work behind the scenes and leading up to it, and basically like the 18 months prior, from the ticket drive through to the purchase of the team. There was lots going on behind the scenes, and you put in a ton of work. And I hope it's something that I know you're super proud of. You should be proud of it. And we're happy to have you in studio, man. So it's always good to see you. We appreciate it. And continued success. You still golfing or what?
I do a little bit. Not very good. But
well, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Cal. It's always great to see you, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks for asking me.
That is Cal Nichols. We'll get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Tires, wheels, oil change, vehicle repair. They do it all in one stop. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. Oilers and Golden Knights down in Vegas. Puck drop 7:30. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro gets going at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere around the NHL, you got the Jackets and Canadiens. Sens host the Penguins. Kraken in Tampa. Panthers, Wild Stars taking on the Islanders. The Blues will host the Sharks, Devils, and Preds. Jets, Avalanche, Ducks up against the Flames, and the Kings in Vancouver. Off the ice, the Senators will be without defenseman Thomas Chabot for the next 4 to 8 weeks after he underwent surgery today on his right arm after taking a cross check from Rangers captain JT Miller on Monday. In the association, 3 games this evening, starting at 5, you got the Hornets and the Knicks, Pelicans and Pistons, and the Kings up against the Orlando Magic. Major League Baseball today as well. Full slate of games. Right now, Red Sox up on the Reds 1-0 in the 7th. Astros and Angels are scoreless. Tigers have an 8-1 lead over the Padres. Rangers trail the Phillies 5-0, and the Rays up on the Cards 6-1. Earlier today, it was the Mets over the Pirates 11-7. Brewers dropped the White Sox 14-2. Nationals over the Cubbies 10-4, and the Orioles double up the Twins 2-1. March Madness rolling on tonight. Sweet 16 action. You got Purdue, Texas, Iowa, Nebraska. Number 1 Arizona takes on number 4 Arkansas, and Houston takes on Illinois from Houston. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Terry Ryan. We'll also talk some Vegas Golden Knights with Dan Duva, voice of the team, and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and if you're like me, you never stop wondering what the future holds. The one thing I do know is that you'll be able to enjoy my maple butter glazed donut at Tim Hortons because it's so fluffy and delicious that it'll never come off the menu. Never, ever, ever. Try it today at Tim's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. Get your power play amped up with UL, supplying the City of Champions in Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. UL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through Thursday afternoon. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Lots of text. Thanks for the very complimentary words, and lots of many thank yous to Cal that we pass along to him. It's always great to see Cal and that entire group. I thought it was important to name off all the people who are involved in it because they made a massive difference for this city. I know the orders can irritate you at times, no question, but I can say with confidence that you'd much rather be irritated than be absent of a team, no question. I asked people in Winnipeg how it felt when they left, and Quebec City, and it's important. It's no different than when Larry purchased the green and gold, because who knows what would happen there. And you know what, they're on the road to getting back to being a competitive organization, which is key. Of course, the Combine in town. We're going to talk to the Declan man tomorrow on the show because it's going to go down there and watch a lot of things and see how it's going down. But it was great to talk to Cal about it. I think it's always important to remember kind of where you came from for sports fans. And someone like myself, hey, if the Oilers aren't in town, the job's a lot different. There's no doubt about that. So Edmonton is a fantastic sports city. From ownership down to the fans, there's a lot of intensity and a lot of passion, and it's something that very privileged to be able to talk to so many fans on a day-to-day basis. So I love that. And we welcome to the show former NHLer, big fan of hockey, Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing, my man? TR, I think you're muted, buddy. So I can hear you, or I could hear you for a second, but we'll get your sound there figured out momentarily. He's got his new studio. I can see all the new backgrounds. He's got his Tri-City Americans jersey going there, so we'll get it sorted out in a sec. Once there you go, buddy. Nice.
It's you can't hear me with my mic. So if you can hear me now, fine. The mic's not working.
I can hear you just fine, buddy.
Okay.
So there you go. Oh yeah, nice. So I'm not sure how much of that you caught of Cal Nichols, but we're kind of going blast in the past from really saving hockey. Him and the EIG, the Edmonton Investors Group, back in 1998. But it really started with the ticket drives in '96, where those guys went around. They had to sell 6,500 season tickets because that's when the Canadian teams you would qualify. But it wasn't just the tickets; you had to sell so many tickets. You had to get to 13,000 tickets, season tickets sold, and then you had to do all your rink boards. And then you would qualify for basically get some money from the league to help you run your team. So that was and they did it in a span of like 6 months, which is a pretty significant venture to get all the boards sold and all the tickets sold. And then within 18 months, they ended up buying the team from Peter Pockinson. So it was it's a wild ride when you think about it, man. That's, for a lot of business people, but every business is a little bit different, but running a pro sports team where everybody's kind of watching your every move is definitely different.
I didn't know that story. Are you saying that in order to qualify for revenue sharing, you had to do those things or else you don't qualify?
Yeah. Yeah. Back then, this was in 1996. Yeah. The, what was it called? The CEPT, I think it was, kept or whatever the name. Cal had a name for it. I forgot it already because he told me so much in that interview. But yeah, that was like
their banners should be up with the retired numbers.
You know what? Honestly, that's there's a very that's actually a very good point. When in the green and gold, like the EIG investors should probably have on the Ring of Honor, right? With the other one, that's a very valid point.
Kind of an important moment, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
In the history of the organization, there's no question about it. So there's a few guys in the current team that will have their jerseys up there when they retire, 97 and 29 for certain. I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has punched his ticket. He's going to be on the Ring of Honor, no question in my mind. I do want to talk a little bit about Evan Bouchard, TR, because Evan Bouchard, at the rate he's going, man, if he's a guy that continues to put up the numbers and continues to improve his defensive play. He had the 3 assist game, like some really important assists. +4 in that win over Utah. He's now tied his career high in points with 82. He's already set a new mark in goals with 19. He needs 2 more assists to set a new assist mark. He's probably going to get over 90 points. And I was looking like he would be the 13th defenseman all time to get 90 points, right? Like it is I think because we've seen, McCarr do it and Yossi recently, that everyone's like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. Not really. But Bouchard, like, he can get to 95, which is even a smaller level at the rate he's playing right now. Like, he's on pace for 94, and he's being lights out for the Oilers this season. So it's wild that you said this. So I recorded my podcast earlier today, and I bet you I spent about 15 minutes talking about this because a lot of people send me messages for my podcast, Tales with TR, because I'm on there. So I get a lot of Edmonton traffic on there. So here's the thing about Evan Bouchard. The times, obviously, there's some untimely turnovers. And I think just given the situation, and they can kind of the snowball on you, and people pay attention to that. And you start to take for granted, because all along the way, he's consistently gotten points. The only thing that's been inconsistent is those turnovers and things. And both years that I can remember, the last two, I don't remember before that, but I watched like a hawk the last two, and he turns it up. It's one of the reasons I say about the Oilers, like they got guys like him and their two leaders, they're Hyman, like they got guys that really step it up in the playoffs. So when you get there, capable goaltending is all I'm saying, and they can really do it because of people like Bouchard. But Bouchard, he's, in any other world, you'd be talking about a possible Norris Trophy, but people are so down on him. Now, I would say this, that be honest with yourself, and I'm not picking up for every single thing that he's done. And of course, of the top tier D, I bet you he turned it over more than most at times over the last couple of regular seasons. But when we watch that Olympics, now we all watched, because we all don't watch Colorado. I don't have all the time to watch all the best D. I barely watch Columbus. I make sure to see Werenski, what he's doing. But what will you see when you watch those players that have the puck so much, that are so important from the back end? They turn it over. Again, I don't know the analytics, but they turn it over quite frequently. It's just that more often than not, they don't. And usually, and they will. The worst thing about Bouchard, I think, and all that, I bet you the rate is even close. It's just that he often leaves himself. He's the last one back, and it's so obvious. But I'm telling you right now, I think most of it on that guy is it's circumstances, the games that they're down, and the times that he's chosen to like make a play. It seems to be untimely. It's like a goalie. You look and you go, my God, the stats seem totally normal. I know, but if you let in one from the red line when it's 3-3, so it's a lot of that. But I'm a big Bouchard fan, and I think if I'm an Oilers fan looking at it, think about all the teams all throughout the league and all your star players and everybody that you cheer for. Can you bank on them all to guarantee step it up in the playoffs? I can't even think of, I'd say less than 50%, but he's one player that definitely, if you're going to go with analytics, look at those numbers in the playoffs. He steps it up. Oh, no question. And I've argued it for a long time. Yeah, Bouchard makes some mistakes. I've watched Cale McCarr, I've watched other guys. They all do it. Every player does it, because when you have the puck a lot, you can't always make the right play. It's physically impossible, because in the best league in the world, guess what? The other guys do sometimes disguise things, and, they're quick and maybe quicker than you want. And so away you go. But Evan Bouchard, really, since November 1st this year, he had a little bit of a slow start like the whole team did. But since November 1st, man, he has been really, really good. And I firmly believe he's probably going to be a finalist for the Norris Trophy. I think it might be tough to beat out Werenski. Werenski's had an unreal season, and he doesn't have the benefit. If you look at offensive points, and he leads the NHL in 5-on-5 scoring by D-men, but he doesn't have an elite forward on his team like a McDavid or a McKinnon or a Kucherov like Darren Radish, and that does matter. It does definitely matter, right? Yeah. And now it's not the only thing. You got, like, if he was 40 points behind everybody else, it wouldn't matter, right? Yeah. But when you're that close, you look at it, and I think Bouchard is going to be a finalist this year. I think he's worthy of being a finalist. Cale McCarr's had an unreal October, but if you look at his numbers since, Quinn Hughes, not kind of the same thing. He doesn't have the same, goal for, goal against, if you're looking at defensive numbers that Bouchard has. So, and Bouchard's playing on a team that isn't getting necessarily great goaltending a lot of the time. So I think he's had a really good year, and he's going to have to continue it, especially with Draisaitl out, TR. He becomes kind of like their second weapon And when I look at the Oilers' power play, it's the one area I've always argued that, Draisaitl was a major cog, and everyone talk about coaches. I'm like, no, it's Draisaitl and McDavid are the main two cogs. And then you got Bouchard, you got Nugent Hopkins and Hyman in different roles. But they really missed Draisaitl for A, winning faceoffs, but B, his passing and shooting ability on that one side. It's just, you can't replicate it. Like, Matt Savoy's a really talented offensive player. So is Jack Roslovic, but they're not Leon Draisaitl. And we're noticing it on the power play.
Oh, yeah. He commands, if only for his goal line presence in the corner, if only for that, because it's unlike anybody else's. And then, of course, you give a player like that space and time, and I think you're playing right into the wheelhouse. Draisaitl reminds me, David seems to skate with it more. Draisaitl reminds me more of Kucherov. They kind of slow it down at times on the power play, and they hit that seam. And that's why a guy like Bouchard would really benefit. I mean, you got two of those guys whirling around with it, and Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, these guys aren't chump change. So he's out there with players that can see a seam. But Draisaitl, to me, is, I think, probably one of the best ever at that. It's one thing to talk about his division or the sport now, but I mean, really, he can hit those seams. He slows the game down. He's dangerous enough like that 5-on-5. So I think that, a power play, any power play, but especially the Oilers, that's at times been record breaking. That's a big loss having Draisaitl out.
Yeah, for sure. They go into Vegas tonight, place that they've had a lot of success against. And, it's looking, barring a Ducks collapse, it's looking like, Edmonton and Vegas, although, LA Kings are still in the mix potentially to get into the 2 or 3 slot in the Pacific Division. But that's why it's such a big game tonight, TR. And, we've talked about a lot the Oilers' inability to find consistency past 2 games. They can win 2 in a row and play well for 2. They haven't been able to do it very often for 3. And I've seen more signs in March than any other month of them maybe finding that the consistency that they need. Other than, actually December, they're pretty good. But do you think it's possible for this team to ramp it back up to the level they've been at? Because they, last year, the year before, they did have long stretches of consistency. They just haven't done it yet. Do you think they can?
I do think they can. Again, if no other reason than just seeing history repeat. And this time of year, the Oilers start stepping it up, and they really do. Their players, they elevate. And right now, if you're talking tonight to continue the ball rolling in the right direction, I think it's theirs to lose tonight. The goaltending in Las Vegas has been bad. They've been all over them. I think Marner has gone like 8 games or something without a goal, or like Eichel's cold. I don't know. Like, for me, they're coming in at the right time, and they can make up for losing that Florida game 3-0. That was something that you'd want back. But I do, of all the teams, and again, only that I've seen it with my own eyes, and so have you. Otherwise, it's just speculation. But there's a lot of players on that roster that get better this time of year. So, playoffs are playoffs, but these are playoff games. These are playoff games. So I'm counting this. When I say playoffs, I'm counting this particular. I mean, they got to win these games, right? So these are. This is, the ball's bouncing in the right direction. I fully believe if they get capable goaltending, that all of the above is possible. I think they're going to be better in the playoffs than they were in the regular season.
Well, Oilers fans hope you're right on that one. No, they're going to have to be for sure if they want to go anywhere in the postseason this year. We'll take a quick break, and then we're going to go out to Vegas as we will talk about the struggling Vegas Golden Knights, who just haven't been able to get things going offensively lately. Goaltending has been a problem. Dan Duva will join us next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the noodles almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com. At GS Construction, every winter plan becomes a spring project. Every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running. With a people-first mentality, career growth, and comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca. Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Low Tide to Kevin Carius and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week
to Sports 1440.
The WHL playoffs return to Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Friday, your Edmonton Oil Kings square off with the Saskatoon Blades in Game 1 of their first round series. Then on Family Fun Sunday, your Oil Kings turn up the heat for Game 2 versus Saskatoon.
Plus, at every home game score, Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Saskatoon Blades.
Game 1, Friday night at 7. Game 2, Family Fun Sunday afternoon at 2.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
The Bricks semi-annual sale is back with prices so low, they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners, up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Buy more, save more. Up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoor with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and if you want your trailer to be ready for May long weekend, the time to make your plan is not in the spring, it's now.
Everyone wants to be ready to hit the great outdoors at the same time, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob, but a little foresight can have your camping plans firmed up while everyone else is putting it off for later. At No Bull, we're building our spring startup schedules now, so it's a good time to get on our list.
And there's only so many RVs you can work on between then and now, right, Rick?
It's a zero-sum game, Bob. We have a finite number of RV techs and service bays. We're working every day from now until the busy season, and there's one thing I'll guarantee. Every spring startup slot for May long weekend will be reserved by April 1st. So if you want to spend Victoria Day in the great outdoors instead of wishing you were in the great outdoors, drop by or give us a call now. You'll thank me later.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out elksnation.ca, articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I don't know the playoffs.
424. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Some news in baseball. Second baseman Nico Horner has just signed a 6-year extension to stay with the Chicago Cubs on the, yesterday was technically opening day, but much busier opening day today. Still a few teams, including the Blue Jays, who will open up the season tomorrow for MLB, just as the NHL and NBA are winding down the regular season. We get into April, and man, you got baseball, you got basketball, you got hockey, you got the CFL draft, you got the NFL draft, you got the Masters, golf gets going. Well, this year there'll be no F1 because they had to cancel a few of the races due to the war. But April is a very, very busy month and loads of fun with some playoffs and everything else. Can't wait. I love it. And what's always good about the playoffs is leading up to the playoffs. Rivalries are always built in the postseason, and the Oilers and the Golden Knights have met twice in the last few years. Of course, Golden Knights won in 2023, and the Oilers won in 2025. The Oilers and Golden Knights right now look like a pretty decent chance to meet again in the postseason. The only thing to be decided is who's going to start at home. Edmonton's currently 1 point up on Vegas, 10 games to go. They play tonight. They play again next Saturday in Edmonton, and those two games will probably go a long way to deciding who's going to get home ice advantage as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And be sure to stop in at McDonald's. You only got a few days left. If you like, of course, McDonald's food, but maybe more importantly, you like to collect the NHL Star Sticks. Connor McDavid, amongst others, are back, and collect all 7 when you get these Star Sticks meals right now at McDonald's, as Dan Duba joins us from Vegas. And Dan, it's very interesting. I look at the correlation, the difference. Everybody says, hey, Edmonton wants better goaltending. Vegas wants better goaltending. The biggest difference is Vegas's team defense is pretty good. They rank 3rd, courtesy of ClearSight Analytics, in expected goals against, but they're 26th in actual goals against. What do you make of that this season for Vegas? And is it just too easy to say, hey, they simply need better goaltending because they don't give up a lot of shots and don't give up a lot of chances?
Yeah, you said a lot there, Jason. Good stuff. Good to be with you, and you too, Terry. It's so interesting. The Golden Knights have had every season until now a team save percentage above 900 and a goals against average under 3. It seems neither of those things are going to happen this year. Finally, Adin Hill started to turn to form. Now all of a sudden the offense is dried up. I mean, if Jack Eichel doesn't get a point today, it would tie a career worst drought. Mark Stone only has points in 1 game since the Olympics, whereas he had points in 35 out of 41 before the Olympics. So it's like the Springsteen song, 1 step up, 2 steps back. They got one thing figured out, 2 other things go wrong. So the numbers are a little alarming when you think about their suppressing shots. Hey, they only gave up 15 shots to the Dallas Stars the other day, but 2 goals went in. The other day in Winnipeg, they allowed 3 goals on 4 shots in the span of 6.5 minutes over 2 periods. In other words, just like, for example, Hill gave up 3 goals in the first 3 shots he faced a few games ago. First shot of the game in Nashville, Akira Schmid let in. So they've just had these weird stretches where everything goes in, and then they don't give up anything for a while. So it's just so hard to figure out. It's unlike any Golden Knights season so far.
You mentioned Jack Eichel, man. That guy was on fire for, starting out the season, really leading up until the Olympics. And everybody's like, man, Jack Eichel's playing great. And now all of a sudden, him and Stone, and really their whole power play, like, it's maybe not a surprise. All these guys are, I think Thomas Hertl doesn't have a point in 9 games. Like, their power play's just gone completely in the ditch.
Yeah, in particular, that number 1 unit has not scored a power play goal since the Chicago game, which was back on March 14th. The second unit, which doesn't get many minutes at all, has scored in 3 consecutive games. So that's, I suppose, the silver lining. But that group, and it's for the first time in team history, they're using 5 forwards on the number 1 unit. That's never happened before. You get Mitch Marner, makes sense. But the confidence that those players often derive from power play success, and it'll still go down as the best power play in team history unless they go 0 for the last 10 games of the season. They're about to set a new team record for power play goals. But it's dried up at even strength too, and it's sort of a catch-22 right now. And you can't help but wonder, like you mentioned with Jack, okay, you had the Olympic thing, and you can understand maybe tired, especially after the high of winning a gold medal and sort of the disappointment for the Canada guys. Knights had 2 guys, Team USA, 3 guys on Team Canada, not to mention other Olympic teams. But, we're past that now. I think that's a factor, but if you look at the amount of time the Golden Knights have spent trailing this year, they've just gone ahead of the Vancouver Canucks for the most minutes trailing. Isn't that wild? In other words, they have all these comebacks, great third period differential, and that's because they've been behind so often. And what happens if you're behind in a game? You've got to use your star players. You've got to lean on them to get offense in the third period. So those guys like your Eichel and your Stone, they have been leaned upon so much all season long. I think it aggravates the situation that they've been in out of the Olympics. Just, playing from behind. You guys know, like that's no place to be. You've got to build up some early leads and cruise sometimes. That's how you get through 82 games.
DR?
Dan, how's Trevor Connolly's progression? I don't hear much, but I hear he's a great prospect.
Yeah, it's a great question. And, his early pro tenure was hampered by injury. So while there have been other young players in the mix that have been called up and made their debuts, including Braden Bowman, who last year was on an AHL deal, signed an NHL contract in March, but even in training camp, he looked fine, played a couple preseason games. But when Mark Stone was injured back in the fall, they decided to give him a shot because his skill set lines up with Stone's. Not that he's necessarily Mark Stone, but then we saw him, and what do you know? He's played over 50 games. It's been a healthy scratch the last two. Riley Smith has gone back in. In other words, there have been other young players who've gotten a look ahead of Connolly, partly because of that injury early in the season. However, of late, with the Henderson Silver Knights, and Henderson is right down the road here in Las Vegas, that team is having probably its best regular season in the handful of years they've been around. Carl Lindbaum's been great in goal, and he's had some NHL looks. And if the Knights were not in this tricky spot where, they're in a real playoff race, I wonder if Trevor Connolly might have gotten a look in the NHL by now. But if you were to call him up now, it's sort of like you'd put too much weight on his shoulders. Eichel can't score, Stone can't score. Let's call on Trevor Connolly to save the day. Like, that's too much. George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon have long subscribed to the idea of preferring to overcook a player in the American Hockey League. So there have been others, Kai Uchaz was a guy who made his NHL debut as a depth forward. Other veteran minor leaguers have been called up, Tanner Lazinski for one. So I'm eager to see what Trevor Connolly looks like in a Golden Knights uniform. I think, as I said, I think the injury early on kind of took him out of the mix back at the beginning of the season. But from all reports in Henderson, he's starting to really turn into the player who can produce. And then we'll see when the time is right. I don't know if it'll be this year or not. But if that jump to the NHL is sometime in the offing.
Dan, the Rasmus Anderson trade, Zach Whitecloud and picks and prospects go to Calgary, and so far it hasn't worked out. Like Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson, who were longtime partners in Calgary before and were very good, they tried them out together, hasn't really worked. What do you kind of make of Anderson? And maybe not a surprise, guys get traded the first time, it doesn't always work right away.
Yeah, and I think in the last handful of games, he started to look a lot more like himself. I interviewed him before the game in, where were we? In Winnipeg, as a matter of fact, the other day. So they were coming off the win in Dallas, and you got a sense of fitting in a little bit more with his game. And he talked about each pair for the Golden Knights as, sort of a traditional stay-at-home guy versus someone who's going to activate a little bit more. And, if you had Hannafin and Anderson together, both of them might be called upon to be the activator who can produce offensively. So for comfort reasons, they were together for a while. But, for the offensive reasons and the balance reasons, then they were separated. But, then obviously the Knights have not found any consistency, so they put them back together for a few games. Now they're separated again. So you have Rasmus Anderson and Jeremy Lauzon. And Lauzon in his first year with the Golden Knights, I think he also has really begun to find his footing in the last, not just a few weeks, but even last month or two, even before the Olympics. So, Anderson, had a power play assist last game. You could just see the confidence. He didn't see his young kids for well over a month. The trade, the Olympics, and all that sort of stuff. Never changed teams before, so going through all of that. But you could see just the personality coming out a little bit more. When you're new to a team, it's hard to really be yourself, I'd imagine. And he's one of the louder guys. I think that's something the Knights have missed on the bench is Alex Petrangelo's voice. Of course, his play. But Alex would be a guy who could be loud on the bench, who could talk to his teammates, but also the coaches. There's, Mark Stone and Jack Eichel are not quite like that. I think Anderson, it does have that sort of personality, but he's been the new guy. Now I think, it's 23 games now. I think you see the play and the personality look a lot more like the guy we saw for so long in Calgary.
Mitch Marner, better as a winger or a center?
TBD. It's so interesting because who would have thought, with the Knights center depth that he would spend so much time at center. William Karlsson's injury. He's only played 14 games this year. It's 2 years in a row the Knights have essentially had no William Karlsson, who's still among the franchise leaders in multiple categories. So no William Karlsson. And they bring in Colton Sissons from Nashville in the offseason. Brett Howden can play center. And then, of course, Jack Eichel and Tomas Hertl. So you didn't think that you would need Mitch Marner to play center. But again, for balance purposes, it just has not clicked. You thought that Marner and Eichel, you had to try that, right? Two of the best players of their draft year, their generation. You had to try them out together. But both guys like to hold on to the puck. They like to make plays. They like to carry it into the zone, all that sort of stuff. And so it just didn't click at even strength on a line. And so you put Mark Stone back with Eichel. All right, then Mitch Marner's got to find some place to go otherwise. Well, again, with the lack of consistency, Bruce Cassidy keeps moving people around. And the hope was if you try them in different spots, come March and April, there'd be perhaps something discovered, like in the old days when Gerard Gallant figured out Marchessault, Karlsson, and Smith. Who could have come up with that on paper? But in practicality, it was magical. I guess they were trying to find that. But at the very least, if you couldn't find that magic for Marner and somebody else, then at least he would have a lot of experience with everybody in the lineup. And that's sort of where we are now. So Marner's playing center with Riley Smith and Pavel Dorofeev. Pavel sitting on 34 goals, one away from his total all of last year. So you figure Mitch is a great playmaker. Only a handful of guys have ever recorded 50 assists in a season, and Marner's done that in year one, right at just about a point per game here. And then Riley Smith is responsible and smart. So, that line makes sense. Maybe they're lacking a little bit in size, but the question is a good one. Marner at center on the wing, he's been okay in the faceoff circle. But he is so defensively minded that that side of things as a center, the center's defensive responsibilities, Marner's handled that with aplomb.
Dan Duva joins us. Vegas Golden Knights hosting the Edmonton Oilers tonight. And Dan, the Alex Petrangelo, I said at the start of the year, I said people were underrating just what a big loss. You mentioned on the bench they misses his leadership, but just on the ice, this guy's, I think, going to be a Hall of Fame defenseman. When he officially retires, and then 3 years later, you can't, I know you bring in Mitch Marner and that's great, but a winger who I know he's playing center, but a guy who was playing 25 minutes a night on your defense core, it's impossible to replace him. And I think they're seeing that in Vegas this year. And then even throwing Nick Hague, who I thought was an excellent third pair defender.
Yeah, and I think it was J.D. Smith who said it a few years ago that Zach Whitecloud and Nick Hague might be the best third pair in the league. And, of course, that was third pair when Knights won the Stanley Cup, so you can understand that. You miss, Hague's size and is being physical for sure. But Alex Petrangelo, they might have broke the mold after they built that guy. Just a physical specimen, the personality, professionalism, leadership, play, especially in playoff games, could easily go well over 25 minutes when needed. And, just a horse when it comes to retrieving pucks. That's so just a big part about the Golden Knights. Yeah, they've been big and physical over the years, but they have been so successful at retrieving pucks and breaking out, getting the puck into the forward's hands and helping the Knights transition game. Alex was so good at that. It wasn't as flashy as some offensive players on the blue line, like say your Cale Makars or Quinn Hughes, but Petrangelo was so good at that. And also, just a beast on the defensive side of things. So yeah, there's so many ways that we could go on all day talking about what Alex Petrangelo has brought to the Golden Knights and what he brought to the St. Louis Blues on and off the ice. And he's still around the team. And in fact, I saw him earlier today, big smile on his face, but you better believe, he's watching these games thinking, man, how much he could make a difference if he was healthy enough to play.
And one last one. Are you expecting Eichel to see a lot of McDavid's line tonight?
Yeah, you would think so. We've seen that from time to time. Bruce Cassidy doesn't, go crazy about matchups, especially with the acquisition of Cole Smith and Nick Dowd. They feel that they've refound the identity for a fourth line that, a few years ago you had William Carrier, Nichols Waugh, with Keegan Colasar. In the last 2 years, they've really not had a fourth line identity. They like what they've got with Dowd, Smith, and Colton Sissons. So, in other words, Bruce Cassidy is comfortable putting any line out against any opposition line. But if it's Eichel against McDavid, that won't surprise us at all. I love to see the best on best. When those two guys are out there together, I mean, all eyeballs, should be wide open. I don't know for sure. We'll see, and maybe it'll change as the game goes along. But I personally am hoping to see that.
Dan, have a good call tonight, man. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you in Edmonton in less than 10 days.
Sounds good. Thanks very much for having me, guys.
There you go. That's Dan Duba, the voice of Vegas Golden Knights. And as he started off the top, TR, your goaltender starts to play better. Now they can't score. They got 5 goals in their last 5 games. They're 1-4. 3 of those goals came in their one victory, 3-2 over Dallas. They've been shut out in the other 2 and scored 1 goal. Jack Eichel has no points. Mark Stone has no points. Hurdle has no points. Like, you got no chance. I don't care who you are when all your big gunners are shooting blanks at the same time.
Yeah, so to go back on what I said earlier, I did say it's the Oilers' game to lose because of all those reasons. But, of course, you've got to keep that. You got to stay aware that that's the case for them, too, and they know it. And they want to – all those guys are professionals. If no other reason, for their own jobs, they want to do better. And they've been there. A group of these guys have won the cup. They're in it every year. They're a contender. So – they all realize that, and they're all capable of coming out in spades of those slumps. But I think just the Oilers, get it early, just take it to them. I thought last game they did a lot. It wasn't spectacular. Their D, it wasn't even a lot of one-on-one. They were just the way they were playing. They at times they seemed to be very comfortable bottling up the breakout. And in the zone, they weren't overwhelmed by the cycle. If they can really just jump all over this first, because the longer this game goes, the longer Vegas says, you know what, we're in this and we can break out, and you give them more. The Oilers have more momentum going in. You got to keep it that way. Put your foot right on the throat, metaphorical throat.
Oh, yeah, especially Vegas's ability or inability to play at the lead. They play from behind all the time. They get outscored heavily in the first and second periods, and so you got to take advantage of that. It's certain trends. Hey, it's just like Edmonton's trend. When Anaheim comes here on Saturday, the Ducks hey, boys, these guys don't win 3 in a row. So, certain trends you got to take advantage of, and we'll see if the Oilers can do it tonight. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still don't care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No self-proclaimed titles, no iPads, no trips to Vegas or hockey jerseys, just a really good deal. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the rink, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking at silenticecenter.com.
You started wearing it to guys' night. Nice toque, you hoser. Then you started wearing it to work.
Nice toque, you hipster.
But the truth is, you're not a hoser or a hipster. You're just trying to hide your hair loss. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and for over 2 decades, I've used the latest techniques to help thousands save their hair, including my own. Come see me today to explore your options. By the time it warms up enough to take off the toque, you could have a head of hair you won't want to hide. Go to drvanceelliott.com today.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create millions of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone. The oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care. Injuries don't wait, neither should you. 01 Athletic Care offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. It's expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health right in West Edmonton Mall. Move from injury to recovery. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.448. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley. Jerry Ryan with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's time to get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick and their semi-annual sale going on right now. You can save up to 30% off sofas, love seats, chairs, and sectionals, 40% off select mattresses, and you can buy any 65-inch TV and get another instant soundbar credit right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, another game day. So let's get another game day official prediction with a bold prediction as the Oilers are down in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights.
I'm going to say Oilers 5-3 empty net. McDavid 3 goals, 1 assist.
Ooh, TR. Okay. Well, I will say it's more of a low-scoring game. I think it's 3-2, and then Edmonton scores an empty netter because they can win 2 in a row. And Matthias Ekholm, who scored a hat trick against the Anaheim Ducks, but has gone 18 games without a goal. That ends tonight for Matthias Ekholm.
All right, question number 2. The Oilers blocked more shots and Tristan Jarry saved on Tuesday. Pretty good blueprint, I would say. How many shots do you guys think they'll block tonight?
Well, Vegas isn't a... Last time what they have, 26 shots on Ingram. I will say 19 block shots.
I'm saying this for no reason because I can't attach it to any reason whatsoever, but I will say, if I say 20, it's just like, even though we're not going to look into it, it's just like the price is right. I just screwed you. Okay, I'll say 15.
All right, question number 2 for you. We could do the West as well if you guys think the Preds might fall out or the Kings can make a push. But the original question is, who do you think will be the 2 wild card teams in the Eastern Conference with a few teams battling?
Go ahead, TR.
Who do I think are going to be the 2 wild card teams?
In the East, yes.
Montreal.
And?
I was going to say Detroit, but I don't. Pittsburgh.
Ooh, Pittsburgh. Okay. I am going to go with, this one's clearly I'm going with my heart. I think the Ottawa Senators. And the Boston Bruins.
All right. Question number 4. Baseball season underway right now, full swing. Who's your pick to win AL and NL MVPs this year?
Ooh, just for fun, because let's go with the big dumper to actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. He had an unreal year last year. I don't think he can match it. So I will say, even though he started with the golden sombrero, I'm going to still say Aaron Judge. And in the NL, Shohei Ohtani.
Wouldn't that be the 3rd year? Honestly, the only reason I won't say that is because I'm going to flip the coin that one of them gets injured. But they are far and away. To me, they're just far and away. Like, they're generational is one thing. We might be talking like one take ever kind of players. And if they're healthy, the odds are just the law of averages. He's going to hit 1 million home runs, and Ohtani's going to do both. And so you know what? Let's say Vladdy Guerrero. Okay, Jay's fan. Going up next week, I'm seeing the 6th, 7th, and 8th, the Dodgers, 3 games in a row. Oh, God, I was going to say Juan Soto, but screw that. I don't like the guy. Bryce Harper.
All right. The odds in the NL are absolutely ridiculous. Shohei is just the crazy favorite. Final question for you guys. Today is Purple
Who's
Day.
second best odds, though, in the NL?
NL is Juan Soto at plus 900.
All right.
Acuna 1,000 and Tatis 1,900. So Shohei's minus 145 right now.
It's good value. Not for Shohei, but for the other guys.
If there's an injury, yeah, of course, one of those guys could slide in. You could get a nice little payday. Final question for you. Today is Purple Day. That is to increase awareness for epilepsy. In that direction, what is your favorite purple jersey uniform in all of sport?
So, purple jersey or uniform, I if there's one standing out to me that I'm missing, and, Newfoundland wears purple. So everybody listening from Newfoundland, obviously we're talking about professional here. So let's look beyond that. I got no reason not to say the Lakers. I'm not a huge Lakers fan, but Steve Nash played there. They've got a great heritage and history. I don't love LeBron, but other than that, all the other stars that have come through there, I'm pretty big fan. So I guess I'll say the Lakers.
Oh, for me, it's easy. It's the Minnesota Vikings. I love the purple of the Vikings. Purple people eaters. Sick handle, too. That all-star line, D line that they had many moons ago. So that's what I'll go with. Cons, what do you got?
Honorable mention to the LA Kings, but I'm going to go with...
they're all purple. That was sweet. They don't use it anymore, though.
Had a good one, but I'll go with the Colorado Rockies. Not a good baseball team, but good baseball jersey.
It is.
All right.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that I could think of.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great purple, but I actually really like the Vikings. I think it's pretty crisp. It's pretty clean. I quite like it. So
Ravens are good too.
The Montreal Maroons. Are we going maroon? Do they get clumped into the purple?
No, it's right in the title, TR. Maroon.
I thought
So-
maroon was purple. Maroon, purple, and red together. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's like a different shade, but it's not. I think if maroon's more deep red than it is purple.
So
I would
if this
think.
is Jeopardy. There's no chance.
No,
I lose.
Yeah, I think you lost. Yeah.
Well,
10
I mean,
10
my
push-ups.
original answer was the Lakers, and I'm sticking with that anyway because their legacy and, of course, Steve Nash. What a passer. You talk Mitch Marner, you talk Connor McDavid. He's the equivalent in that sport, man. What a passer.
He was a pretty good disher. There's no doubt about it. Speaking of your Habs, TR, is Cole Caulfield going to get to 50?
Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be just great to see. He's on a heater, and it's different than the like. I know we're all playing. I can't see McKinnon like sitting down, but it's certainly more pressing for Montreal to have him out there more. I mean, they're going for it. If any kind of injury whatsoever, McKinnon, I know 50 goals are big, but he's a team guy. He's probably going to sit back a little bit. Just saying, the odds are more that Caulfield's going to play and more meaningful hockey. And man, if he's anything, he's clutch. So yeah, I got no reason to think he's going to slow down now. It's just if he catches and wins. But 50's possible as it was this time last year for Connor or whoever was going for it.
Do you remember the last Canadiens player to score 50 goals?
Stephane Richer, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Did
Yeah.
it twice. Last time it did it was 1990. God, I just remember him flying down the wing, and God, he had a good slap shot. Oh, could he unleash it?
He could. He was there, and Montreal got traded back there when I was there. It's great.
Really?
That guy? Yeah. And he would come out afterwards. He did all kinds of extra work with me. There you go. You'd never see that stuff on Hockey DB. Certainly not mine.
No,
But he was
TR.
just a dandy fella. Yeah.
I got to meet Stefan, actually play against him when the Montreal Canadiens alumni traveling team was out in Westlock, and I got invited to play in that game. And Richer was unreal.
Did he wind up and like slap one? But like, see, sometimes goes in on the goalies and he winds up and they don't know what to do and he shoots it over in the corner.
Yeah. No,
Like a
but I
million
just
muffins.
there was one time when it was just like, I think someone said, "Hey, can you remind us that you're good?" And he just turned on the jets and was gone down the wing. But man, I don't recall him taking a slapper, but I think he took like one of those NHL snapshots from the blue line. The goalie has no chance.
Crazy shot. Crazy.
And he was
the
way
people don't
bigger
talk
than
about-
you would think, man. Like, he was a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, man. He came into the league first. He was skinny. So I think people saw like the hockey card without having any, scale to look at. I'm like, man, this guy's massive. He's jacked too. Like, he's real strong. His wrists are as big as my biceps. So, it's no fluke. You're shooting. If you're a good shooter and it's going that much harder than other people's shots, that's when 40 turns into 50. Right. As soon as I saw him skating around, it was I didn't have to bat one eyelash. I'm like, of course he got 50. He's doing what everybody else is doing. And then he's coming in, taking a shot that's twice as hard, obviously.
I remember in that one, Jocelyn Lemieux, biggest dick I've ever seen in any alumni game at any point ever. What a Class A loser. You should have seen like off the face off, like he was trying to get guys to flinch and stuff. Like it was just, I'm like, what an idiot. Yeah. So it's the one thing I'm like, Richer was great. There were so many great guys, but Jocelyn Lemieux, just a Class A clown is what he was. And I remember even some of the alumni guys were just like, this guy's known here very often. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't on the team after that.
Well, I haven't ever seen him there.
Yeah. Well, that's not a surprise, TR. Not a surprise.
Well, you pull that, it's that those things are all about the fans.
Yes,
interacting.
100%. Right.
Yeah.
Like if you could do funny things and joke around with guys, but he was just a clown, like an absolute clown. So
I hear you. I
TR,
know the type.
Yeah. Have yourself a great day. We will have a good weekend. We'll chat with you next week.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Edmonton, and see you guys soon.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan joins us Tuesday and Thursday. We'll get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And coming up after 5 o'clock, Mark Spector will join us from lovely Las Vegas. We're going to hear from Chris Knobloch, as well as the former Hawks, Murphy and Dickinson, who are starting to fit in quite well in Edmonton. We'll get to all that. But first, here's a Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate. Chevrolet Buick GMC. And hey, it's snowing outside. Don't worry. Get in the brand new Autoplex at Northgate. Massive showroom. Great place for you to do your car shopping. And you'll get a great deal with no gimmicks. Just a great deal. NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers on the road in Vegas set to take on the Golden Knights. Puck drop 7:30. Pregame coverage with Andrew Walker at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere on the NHL, you got the Wild and the Panthers. Kraken take on the Lightning, Sens, and Penguins. Sens will be without Thomas Chabot, who's expected to miss the next 4 to 8 weeks after undergoing arm surgery. Islanders up against the Stars. Blackhawks, Flyers. The Preds take on the Devils. Sharks head to St. Louis. Jets host the Avs. Caps in Utah. Flames host the Ducks. And the Kings in Vancouver. In the association, 3 games tonight. Hornets, Knicks, Pelicans, Pistons, and the Magic in Orlando. All those games starting in about 5 minutes' time. Major League Baseball, 2 games going on right now. Cards lead the Rays 9-7 in the 8th. And in the 9th, Astros have a 3-0 lead. Or trail the Angels 3-0. Later tonight, Mariners up against the Guardians, and the Diamondbacks take on the Dodgers. And March Madness Sweet 16 action gets going in 10 minutes. Purdue and Texas. You got Iowa up against Nebraska. Arizona meets Arkansas, and Illinois taking on number 2 Houston. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. Hear comments from the Oilers and get to Cam Tate 2-minute warning as Tater wonders why Coach Chris Knobloch isn't more of a risk taker in Vegas. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced
rolling through
players and operators.
Thursday afternoon.
GSconstruction.ca.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back with prices so low they only last until March 30th. Save up
Jason
to 30%
Gregor,
off
Terry.
sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Up to 40% off select mattresses and up to 30% off bedroom
Halley.
and dining furniture. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to 15% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoors with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply.
MC. And hey, it's snowing outside. Don't worry.
The
Get in the
Brick,
brand new
saving you more.
Autoplex at Northgate.
Hot coffee,
Massive
politics,
show.
and sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrions weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com. Budget 2026 is focused on what matters. With record investments in healthcare and education and a plan to keep our economy strong. This means better access to doctors and nurses, plus 50,000 more surgeries over 3 years. It also means hiring more teachers and building or renovating more than 160 schools, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. Budget 2026, focused on what matters. Visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocks.yeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through, it is game day. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Welcome back. Gregor Show with Connor Halley, Declan Kruger. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. It's the Daily Grand on Thursday. Your opportunity to win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. $7.3 million. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. The Edmonton Oilers on the road in Vegas tonight. Another opportunity to push themselves a little closer to clinching a playoff spot and, more importantly, a home ice advantage. So we'll see if that comes to fruition for the Edmonton Oilers. The Vegas Golden Knights come in slumping, to say the least. 5 goals in their last 5 games. They're 1-4 in those games. Eichel, Stone, Hurdle, no points in those games. So you're the Edmonton Oilers when a team is struggling. Don't let them off the mat. And nobody trails more in the NHL than the Vegas Golden Knights. It's not a surprise when you look at their first and second periods. They're always playing from behind. So try to get a jump on them if you can. The Oilers did it last time they were in Vegas. Trent Frederick scored 3 minutes into the game, and they never looked back. We'll see if they can do it. Again, as we get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists who are hiring. If you're looking for a great company to work for that you have as a career, not just a job, career opportunities with lots of chances to be promoted from within. Apply today, gsconstruction.ca, and look up careers. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us from Vegas. Spec, did you you don't play the slots, do you?
No, I don't gamble here.
No. Have you ever gambled there?
You know what? No. It's not really in my DNA. I've never been a gambler. Like, I'll bet you on a football game, you know, or whatever, but I've never been a sit down at the table and gamble guy. Just not really sure why, but never have.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't say I am, but I did. And my buddies still laugh about it because I wasn't a gambler. I went down with some buddies who were, and we went down. It was remember they used to have all those on the Sunday parties at God, I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was like a big thing. And so you go there and it's like a Sunday party. And I remember walking in, you had to pay like $150, kind of a joke. But then again, I guess it was all alcohol, whatever. And so we go outside and it's freezing outside, like, you know, not like Edmonton cold, but cold enough. And everybody's just standing in towels around the deck. So we waited there for like 40 minutes. I'm like, this blows. Let's get out of here. So we kept our wristband on. Then went in the hotel. I go to the washroom. I come back and they fill up a whole table and there's nowhere for me to sit. So I end up going to this other blackjack table. And I've never even played blackjack switch where you can switch the cards. I never played that before. Ended up playing it for 8 hours. And I ended up playing with T.I., the rapper. I didn't even know he was there. I didn't know he was in our group. There was an offensive lineman from the Houston Texans and these 2 other guys. And, you know, and saddle up and we start playing. And T.I. didn't know. Well, I didn't know who he was until like an hour into the game. And we're winning because he's playing backwards. And you're like, oh, I'm not saying anything. But after a few drinks, finally, I'm like, I cannot say anything. I'm like, dude, you got to stop hitting when the dealer has 6. This is where you double down. And, well, he was betting way more than I was. We ended up having an unreal time. He invites me to a show, but I was too buckled and didn't want to go. That's probably one of the regrets. Hey, man, it's great meeting you. Come backstage. And we never, like, my buddy Hutch, I couldn't believe it. He comes up to me and goes, do you know who you're in with? And I'm like, no. It's like, that's T.I. I'm like, who? Like, it was so funny because
I still don't know who T.I. is. So there you go.
He was a big rapper at the time. So funny enough, he'd actually just gotten out of jail like a month earlier. We found out later. It was pretty funny. But that was about the only time I've ever had an extended time at at a table in my life. And it was lots of fun, though. We were just lucking out and winning. So, but
people,
pretty sure
listen,
I gave it back over time. So
people love gambling. I go down for a coffee. I do Kevin's show at 7 a.m. right here at 7 a.m. So I'm doing my 7 a.m. hits. So I go down about 20 to 7 to grab a coffee. So I'm awake for the thing. And there's people playing slots at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, well, probably because I haven't gone to bed yet.
Well, they kind of don't look like that, though. They kind of look like they're housewives, man.
Oh,
you know,
really?
they don't look like they've been up all night. They look like they're having a coffee. They're just sitting there playing the slots at 6:30 in the morning.
That's the one thing I've never done is the slots. I can't get into that at all. So
Yeah.
I'd like to
Anyway.
dabble at Play Alberta. We have a little fun with it. So there we go. The Oilers are maybe trying to lay a bet on the fact that they can score a goal early in this game tonight, Spec, because Vegas, they got 5 goals in 5 games. All their top guys are in a slump. They trailed more than any team in the National Hockey League right now. So you know what? They've been pretty decent coming back in the third, but they've dug themselves holes in the first and second period almost on a nightly basis. And the Oilers, hey, this is only game 2, Spec. We know they can win 2 in a row. Tonight's not really the worry. It's if they win tonight, it becomes Saturday. But what's your expectations? And they played there 18 days ago, played pretty well. Do you think they can repeat what they did in Utah?
I think so, for sure. I think they're really, they really homed in on the game. They, I talked to Jason Dickinson about that this morning and a couple guys about how, it's not like, when they play that defensive game, it reaffirms that it's there. And they've done it before. We've all heard this before. It's not like they just discovered how to do it for the first time and said, hey, look at that. If we play strong defensively and block shots, we can win games. They know that. So obviously this year, playing it 2, 3, 4 times in a row has been an issue, but I feel, Jason, with Vegas, they're one of those teams where, I think they're a better team than their recent records shown since the Olympics for sure. And I feel like when you're the Oilers, you want to keep, you don't want to be the team that Eichel breaks out of his streak, his slump against, and Stone breaks out of his slump against, and the power play gets going again, and they score early. It's going to happen. They're going to have that game, Vegas. They're not this bad. They're not I think since the All-Star break, they're a 300 team or something. You don't want to be the team they break out against. Get in here, get your 2 points, get the hell out of town. That's exactly what the Oilers are trying to do here.
Yeah. Connor Ingram, the only lineup change tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. And I know you mentioned you talked to Dickinson and Murphy, and 2 guys have really started to fit into what their role was and what they were supposed to be when they acquired them.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, the Murphy-Nurse pairing, if we can get past the pucks that have been hitting Nurse and going into the net all year, which, he's in an incredible run of lousy luck. In fact, the last game, it hit Nurse, then hit Murphy, then went in the net. I think I like that pair. That's if that pair hunkers down and blocks shots and plays strong defensively, you got a couple of 6'4" guys back there that are, I like that second pair. I think that's, if our theme here is we're defending, if Nurse isn't in a position where he needs to provide offense or any of that, if he hunkers down and defends, when he plays that way, he can be very useful, very good. So I like that pair. And I think Dickinson, to me, it's not as much about Dickinson, Jay. It's, does the coach use Dickinson the way you use a third line center? How are you going to deploy this guy? Is he supposed to play against the other team's best players? Is he not? What's he doing here? That to me is the main thing. I'd like to see him play more against the other team's best players.
Yeah, well, that's always the challenge is you want to play him against, but I was looking around the league at other top third line guys. They're not playing more minutes or as many minutes as your top line, right? They're just not. So you're not going to do it
on the third line.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at that, when they played against Kucherov and McDavid played 650 and Dickinson played 5.5, that's about the ratio that you're going to get, right? And so those are 5.5 minutes, and McDavid doesn't have to do it, right? And I looked at Nurse and Murphy, they played over 10 minutes versus Utah's top line of Keller. They basically that was their main matchup. So I think that they are trying to do that. And Dickinson, I think, had played 6 minutes of that. So obviously the D usually play more because there's only 3 pairs of it. But I think they're starting to get more comfortable in knowing, you try to do it. You're not going to, it's never going to be like Steve Casper Esa Tikkanen days where it was just like a shadow, right? Skating around the ice. And thank God for that, to be honest.
Remember Gretzky used to hop on the ice and then hop off the ice and then hop on the ice?
Yeah.
Like those days are gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure people listening like, what the hell are you guys talking about? But yeah, like literally players would used to shadow a guy. Like wherever he skated, he would skate around with him. It was just kind of
and Gretzky's defense was he'd go stand next to a player on the other team and shadow him. So now there was two guys over there and Gretzky. Like that, it was ridiculous, folks. It really was.
It really was. What's your sense in Vegas? You know, like that's an organization that wants to win. They lose tonight, Spec. The LA Kings win. The LA Kings are suddenly 2 points back than like Vegas. The way they're going, they're not home free yet here.
No.
Not that Edmonton is either, but, you know, Vegas has been in more of a funk here lately than Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton, I agree with you. Like we can pick in the last 8-10 games some real nice performances from the Oilers that we like a lot. In fact, probably in their last 10 games, I haven't looked to count, but I'll bet you there's 5 or 6 for sure that we're pretty happy with, right? And the Oilers are pretty happy with. Vegas can't. And you're right, it's slipping here. Aiden Hill's finally found a little bit of a game, guys are telling me here in Vegas, and the team stopped scoring.
Yeah.
You know, why are they the best third period team in the league these days? Because they're the worst first and second period team in the league. They're behind 2-0, 3-0 every night. So yeah, you think they pick it up in the third after their coach kicks their heinies in the second intermission? You bet. You know, so I'll say this, let's get down to brass tacks in terms of Bruce Cassidy's employment here. Missing the playoffs is not an option in Vegas. This team can't miss the playoffs. If they miss the playoffs, Bruce Cassidy won't be coaching here next year. They might make that move even though they make the playoffs. But a playoff miss will need a complete overhaul here, in my opinion, yes.
Interesting. Well, it's an organization that hasn't, that's not afraid to make big moves, maybe quicker than some other people would. And we'll see if it works out. Rasmus Andersson really hasn't worked out yet at all, Spec, in that trade.
How is that? Like, how is that?
You know, people in Calgary said, hey, man, the guy's kind of been slow and hasn't looked good. And a lot of people thought, well, maybe it's because of the team. But clearly, like Zach Whitecloud moves way better. And he's cheaper. Like, I'll say this about Anderson, who's a pending UFA. He's costing himself millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah. Lots of money. No, for sure. And I saw your stat today that you tweeted out about teams that are fast and how the Flames, were by far the slowest team in the West and likely the league, right?
They are by the far. Like I was stunned when I looked that up to find out just how slow they were compared to everybody.
It's kind of cool that we can quantify that a little bit more now, because that was always something that was totally the eye test. Who's the fastest teams? Now you can, with those bursts and with the technology, you can quantify that. I like that. So anyhow, Anderson, listen, is it foot speed? I mean, I'd have to talk to someone who's really watched this guy all the time, because I can't say that I have in Vegas. I watch him when I watch Vegas. But if it's foot speed, that's his problem here. He's not a big guy. First of all, he's a small guy. So if you're small and slow, that's not a good combination. And then you're a defenseman. That's a trilogy that usually ends up playing for Djurgården or Frölunda pretty quick here. So I'm not telling you can't play in the league. That's not what I'm saying. But slow and small is when the UFA market opens, that's a tough combination.
Yes. The Max Jones spec has come in, and you know what? He's been noticeable every game for him. And Curtis Lazar is eligible to come back and return to the lineup on Saturday. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lazar comes in and Järventie goes to the minors. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all, right? Like, they just kind of keep him in Vegas and he can go to Bakersfield right from there. I wouldn't be shocked if that happens, as long as they leave tonight's game healthy. But, do you think Jones has done enough, or because he's on emergency recall, once all these guys like Frederick and everybody else comes back, he goes down?
Well, it's funny. Like, you love being noticeable has never been a problem for Jones. Jones has always given you 2-3 games where you go, man, look at that guy. He's big. He's fast. He hits you. He gets involved. He knocks pucks loose, bangs one in. He's always done that. It's the 4th game and the 5th game and the 6th game where he's disappeared, and that stops. So right now in Edmonton, like how long has he been up here for? How many games he played?
6, I think.
6 or 7. That's what I'm going to say.
Maybe 11. Well, this he's made 11 on the year, but obviously some of it's
So this stretch he hasn't gone away. I notice him every night. And that's all that has to happen for this guy. He's a genuine fourth line player in this league. He's really quick. Like, he can really skate. He's got great size. So if he we always talk about guys who figure it out. Like, Kapanen is a way better player here than he was in his last 3 teams. Podkolzin's a way better player here than he was in Vancouver. If Max Jones figures out the one thing that keeps getting him sent to Bakersfield, and that is the tap turns off after like 3 or 4 games. If he figures that out, maybe he plays for you. Maybe he becomes a fixture. But it's up to him to keep the tap running here.
Yeah, well, you know what, and it'll be key. It's key for a guy. And I remember talking to Max, and he obviously wasn't happy with got injured at the start of the year, and that kind of put him off. Because if you look at how he's played, if he'd have played this way all year, way better than Janmark. There's no question about it. Like, the guy can skate. Like I was talking about those bursts earlier.
Really
he's already got 4, and he's only played 13 games all year long. So
he can skate.
He can move. And
in the playoffs, when you have a guy, when you're going up against, give me a guy, Heiskanen or Quinn Hughes or Evan Bouchard if you're somebody else, and the game plan is chuck it in the guy's corner and then pound him, right? Lane Hudson, name your guy. I want a fourth line guy like him that can get there. And then when he gets there, he's got the size to put the body on that guy. Like, you're not getting a ton of shifts in the playoffs if you're Max Jones, but boy, with the shifts you get, you can leave a mark. And he's a good playoff player for me. I'll have him on my team every day in the playoffs.
Spec, enjoy the game tonight. We will chat with you.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people in the plaza already who are wearing Oilers jerseys. It's 34 degrees out right now, and they're walking around in a polyester Oiler jersey. Sweating, drinking beer like crazy.
Diehards, buddy. Diehards.
They are,
yeah, like, wear the T-shirt and keep the jersey off till you get in the rink. I get that.
Get an Oilers muscle shirt. How about that?
Awesome. Thanks, Spec. Have a good one.
All right.
There we go. That's Mark Specker, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, we'll hear from Dickinson. We'll hear from Connor Murphy as him and Darnell Nurse. Are they starting to get some chemistry? We'll find out next. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier. Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student. Au contraire, mon frère. Je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets. Ah, oui, right this way. For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
NHL Star Sticks are back in McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
The WHL playoffs return to Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Friday, your Edmonton Oil Kings square off with the Saskatoon Blades in Game 1 of their first round series. Then on Family Fun Sunday, your Oil Kings turn up the heat for Game 2 versus Saskatoon.
Plus, at every home game score, count on kids' food combos for $10 or less.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Saskatoon Blades.
Game 1, Friday night at 7. Game 2, Family Fun Sunday afternoon at 2.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
That's 2 minutes for teeth chattering. Freezing on the sidelines again? The Kuma heated chair is a must-have for sports parents who want to cheer in total comfort. From chilly spring mornings to frosty fall evenings, you can finally be warm and comfortable for every game of the season. Shop Kuma Outdoor Gear online and choose from 4 unique models, including one you both can curl up in. Get yours today at KumaOutdoorGear.com.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back, with prices so low they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners, up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, buy more, save more, up to 15% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoors with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. For a limited time, get your favorite large specialty pizza from Papa John's for only $19.99. Use code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Early scores in the NHL because, man, it's playoff watch. Every game, especially in the Eastern Conference, so many tight races matters early on. Blue Jackets were all over the Habs, out shooting them 9-2, but Jaden Struble opens the scoring, his first of the season, and Montreal now leads 1-0. Drake Batherson has scored his 28th goal of the year. The Senators still very banged up on the back end, but they lead Pittsburgh 1-0. Huge game in Pittsburgh. The Islanders desperate for a win. Bo Horvat has his 30th goal of the season. They lead Dallas 1-0. And Sean Couturier and Alex Bump have scored for the Flyers. They are up 2-0 over Chicago. That game really doesn't mean much in the stand. You know, the Flyers have been rolling, man. I will say, like, they played pretty well, and they're trying to keep themselves mathematically in the hunt, and they are. But like, if they win tonight, and let's say Ottawa and the Islanders both lose, they'd only be 3 points out of the playoffs with games in hand. So I guess, you know what, but that's a lot of ifs. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. When you look at the orders tonight, we're going to get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Over 15,000 vehicles for you to choose from at 71 different locations. They will find the car that you like, 33 different brands, Search it today at goauto.ca. And Connor Murphy, who, of course, is looking to make the playoffs and have fans in the stands for the first time in his career. Of course, he was drafted by the Coyotes, started with the Coyotes, then went to Chicago, and of course, they beat the Oilers in the playoffs back in 2020. But there's no fans, there's no crowd. And he even said, he goes, man, it's kind of hard to even count that for them. And he is obviously looking forward to the playoffs, and just talked about an importance of a game tonight to get yourself one step closer.
Yeah, it feels important. I think every game since I've been here, honestly, I've felt that way, but especially when you're playing your own division and when things are tight and the games start to dwindle down with less and less, knowing that there's less time to catch teams if you get behind. So knowing that we want to build on our game and work on our process throughout the full game on how we played the last couple, but knowing that the intensity is going to rise and we're going to be ready for that to start.
And he was asked just like, how fired up is he? Because obviously, considering the time in Chicago, because even the year they did make the playoffs, there was no stretch drive, right? He hasn't played really in his career in games like this down the stretch.
Yeah, I think what's great is it's easy to get up for every game. I think it's something that you want to play competitively and you want to play at the highest stakes. And like I said, it's easy to get the most motivated you've ever been for these games. And you want that pressure in each situation to know that every little play you make, if it's a little a one-on-one or a block shot, that has a big impact on a meaningful game versus the other way around.
And what about playing with Darnell Nurse now that they've had a few games together?
I think it's really nice. He's easy guy to play with because we think similarly, wanting to be hard defenders, and he's a passionate leader that you can feel his intensity and his drive to win and be good for the team, and that is contagious as a partner to read off of. So I think it's been really fun to play with him, and honestly, all the guys on the left side have been cool to play with, just to know that they're all solid defensively, and specifically with him, just having some games to build that chemistry. It helps because in the heated parts of the games, you want to be able to have that natural instinct of knowing where a guy is to help defend, and then even to bump to off breakouts and clears and things.
So there you go. That's Connor Murphy, of course, enjoying his time with the Edmonton Oilers, and Jason Dickinson. For him, just how much fun's he having in these meaningful games down the stretch?
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to be back into meaningful games, meaningful moments. There's going to be points in the game where, people look to you to do something big. And those are the moments that you cherish and you look forward to, because, even if it's a PK, if it's a face-off, it's something simple like that. That's the moment that you really want.
And what about the team's performance against Utah? They've had snippets of it, play well. How do they ensure they keep it going tonight?
Yeah, extremely detailed, extremely committed. Centermen were doing a great job of supporting everybody around the ice to get pucks out of the zone. Nothing fancy about breakouts and alleviating forecheck pressure to limit zone time. And then when there was zone time, guys are doing a good job of getting in lanes, cutting off pucks where we needed to, and D-men doing our boxing out and doing their job to create loose pucks and battles so that we can transition.
And when they have a game like that, does it click in that they need to play like that? Does it become that obvious to the players?
Personally, I don't feel that way. My game is built on that, and that's what I try to do every single night. So my details have to be dialed every night, especially if I'm going to go against top players. I have to. For the rest of the team, if last game was a situation where they could say, oh yeah, this is what we need to do, fantastic. Let's build on that. Let's feel that. We reviewed it in video today to kind of hammer it in to say, look, we can do it. We've done it. Here it is. Go out and do it again, because it doesn't have to be anything fancy, nothing sexy. We're on the road right now, especially. Go win a game. However it has to get done, just go win it.
Well said. It's true. Just go win, right? You know what you got to do? Don't take dumb chances. Get the puck out when you have a chance to get the puck out. Even looking back at the Utah game, the rare times Edmonton got in trouble that game was when they had the puck on their tape, soft dump out, doesn't get out. And now the momentum stays in the offensive zone for Utah. And really, if you go back and you watch, for a lot of teams, it happens. You're not going to clear the puck cleanly every time. I get it. You can't have multiple failed attempts in the same time. Usually that just leads to goals against. And now we'll hear from head coach Chris Knobloch. And does it feel any different before the games now? You know, there's 10 games left. You're playing a probable playoff opponent, battling for the standings. As a coach, do you sense that from your group?
Well, I think definitely should. The importance of this in the standings. Here's a team that we're neck and neck with in the standings. Both have aspirations to win the division and get some home ice advantage and just win games to ultimately to make playoffs. Both teams, having their ups and downs. I think two good quality teams, just not winning as many games as they probably should during the year. But I think, there's a lot of importance on this game tonight.
Yeah, big time. Is there anything extra he does as a coach to try to keep that defensive mindset from Tuesday heading into tonight?
I think at this point of the year, it's, yes, we did have a meeting with some video, but I think it's the importance of being, the message being simple and not overcomplicating things, because everyone should know what we're expected to do and know their positions and their role. And I think it's about just going out there and executing and just playing hockey.
It does seem at times, hey, simplified. Keep it simple, stupid. In a lot of cases, that works. What about, now, obviously they changed their defensive structure coming out of the Olympic break. At this juncture of the season, though, how much more coaching, or does that wait until you get to head-to-head matchups in the playoffs?
At this point of the year, no. We've got our systems in place. Even the things that we did change, that was months ago, and everyone should know. And there's always times that we need reminders, but we're not changing anything. It's ultimately just going out and executing. And, as a coach, especially at this point of the year, I don't think it's good to overcomplicate things.
Well said. So we look for the Oilers tonight, taking on Vegas. Vegas has been a team that has struggled out of the gates this season. They've been outscored 75-59 in the first period. They're very good in the third. So the Oilers, if they do have a lead, they can't take their foot off the gas. Vegas has outscored teams 91-56 in the third period. Only Colorado has a better goal against ratio in the third period. So don't sit back. And the Oilers didn't do that 18 days ago when they're in Vegas, right? Trent Frederick scored, I think it was 3 minutes into the game. Edmonton basically led start to finish in that game. Never let Vegas get too close. And that has to be the mindset tonight. Ideally, you want to try to get a multiple goal lead. There's no Leon Draisaitl tonight. So the Oilers, hey, I know their offense showed up last game. They'll hope to continue it against a Vegas team that doesn't give up a ton. Even when Edmonton won in Vegas, they only had, they scored 3 goals and 18 shots on Adin Hill. They made the most of their opportunities. Probably going to have to do it the same tonight. And try not to let Vegas's offensive guys feel it a bit. Stone, Eichel, Hurdle. These guys are all offers in this 5-game skid. Stone has points in 1 of his last 9 games. Eichel has no points in 6 games. Hurdle has no points in 9 games. It's basically Dorofeev and Marner, the only 2 guys have been scoring lately for Vegas. So try to contain those 2 and not let the other guys get going. We'll come back with Cam Tate, wrap things up on a busy Thursday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpot's Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Country. Your seat is closer than you think. Starting at just $28 a week with a deposit-free payment plan available. Securing your full, half, and quarter season seats inside Rogers Place for the 2026-27 season has never been easier. Sign up for pre-sale access at edmontonoilers.com/season seats. Experience all that Rogers Place has to offer during an Oilers game night by visiting edmontonoilers.com/season seats.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back with prices so low, they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners, up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Buy more, save more. Up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoor with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Through what a fun Thursday, man. Big thanks if you missed it. Cal Nichols spent an hour with us in studio. It was a 30-year anniversary of 1996 when they started the ticket drive in March of 1996. And Friends of the Oil, right? The Folo group, that was the original one that we eventually did. There was Copper Jackets, and Cal was part of that group to help things out. And then when they were done, they finished that. They got it all thing because it allowed Edmonton to reach some benchmarks. It allowed them to get some funding from the NHL for the Canadian teams. And they needed 13,000 season seats. They had to sell 6,500 season seats in the span of 6 months and get all the rink boards filled up. And they reached that goal. And these people weren't even working for the team. Peter Bogdan owned the team, and being part of that. Then as the more that they got closer, Cal kind of realized, man, there's something else going on here. It wasn't great. And you know what? Lo and behold, they had to work for about a year and a half, and then eventually purchased the team in 1998. And March 13th was the official date of that press conference. And when they announced they had purchased the team, but it was a long slog. That when they started, they thought they were just going to be, selling seats and different things like that to help out, and turned into being an ownership group. The EIG was formed. It was awesome. So if you missed that, if you're a fan of the Oilers and you don't know about that, you probably should, because I should thank all the ladies and gents who were part of that ownership group, because that kept the team in town. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. LegacyHeating.ca. As here is Cam Tate with the 2-minute warning. Of course, Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy. Cam's in a wheelchair. He's never let him slow him down. And his dream of being on radio comes to life in the 2-minute warning.
Risks. We all take them. And tonight, the Edmonton Oilers are rolling the dice. Vegas, baby. Coach Chris Knobloch, he's making a move. A bold one. Let's talk Tristan Jarry. Tuesday night, Utah. 18 shots, 16 saves, 2 goals against. Save percentage, .889. Result, a win. But Oilers fans, they're giving Jarry the gears. And sure, some of it's fair. He needs to be better. But let's not call in a national task force to dissect this. Confidence. That's what a goalie needs. Confidence is a goalie's best friend. You don't find it in practice. You find it in games. Games you win. Now, earlier today on the Jason Gregor Show, weekday afternoons, Sports 1440, by the way, the topic of blocked shots came up. 24. 24. That's a team buying in. That's a team building habits. Good ones. But tonight, the Oilers are starting Connor Ingram. And listen, I've got nothing bad to say about Ingram. Solid guy. Solid goalie. But let me ask you this. You're at the blackjack table. You're on a heater. You leave for a bit. When you come back, do you sit in the same seat? Superstition? Maybe. Momentum? Definitely. Knobloch's rolling the dice tonight, and we'll see if the gamble pays off. Because in hockey, just like in Vegas, sometimes you've got to bet big to win big. Oilers, Golden Knights, game on. 2-minute warning. Halley, Gregor, Kruger. Kruger said he would never, ever let me drive his vehicle. Something about not taking a risk. Me? I'm Cam Tate. Sports. 1440.
What do you make of Taylor? Do you think Knobloch took the risk in going back to Jarry, or would it have been a bigger risk? Or sorry, going back to Ingram, or would it have been a bigger risk going to Jarry for 2 consecutive games? Hans, what do you think?
He went with Tristan Jarry just to go with the kind of gambling Vegas type theme here. Remember Austin Powers? And he hits on a blackjack because he likes to live dangerously. That's what I would have thought of. No, hey, I want to see Tristan Jarry turn it around. I really do. He didn't have a step back last game, but I think Connor Ingram in this game is your better option. And then you just tell the team, as best as you can, do what you did. Let's still get in shooting lanes. Let's still block shots, but let's be with the guy who's been a little bit better here. That would have been a very bold move if he had gone back to back with Tristan Jarry.
What would it take? Like, would Ingram just have to soil the sheets tonight for Jarry to start? at home on Saturday afternoon?
I think so. I think I'd have to go very poor for him. And even then, I mean, coach has said it, that Unger is the number one guy here for the stretch. He's given his guys a chance to rebound. So I think even if he were to have a poor game, we've seen it in the past with Stuart Skinner. If things go wrong, he still likes to go with them, give him a chance to bounce back. So I think it would take a lot. Maybe a tweaking perhaps. But yeah, I said it yesterday, Gregor. I was encouraged by what we saw from Tristan Jarry, but the team in front of him had more blocked shots than he had saves. Like, you can't count on that too often. So I still need more, I think.
Okay, that's fair. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It would be good to get in a situation where they felt like, you know what? We are confident regardless of who's in net. And that's probably how it should be for this team. I don't think the Oilers are built to have a goalie stealing them. Now, you'd like your goalie to steal the odd game, yes. But they're not built for their goalies to be the guy who has to steal them games. Just don't lose them games. That's how it is. Hey, Greg, the Oilers are closer to leaving than most people ever realized. Morgan. Oh, I know. Right. Les Alexander was right there, man. There was a deadline. You had to get to it. It was not smooth sailing. Cal talked about it. It was, there were some stressful times there for sure. But, those guys dug in. As Connor Halley, they blocked a few shots and came up clutch at the right time for a city to keep the team here. There's no debating that, man. It's amazing what happens when, a group of people gets together and no one really cares who gets the credit, right? That's kind of what happened there. You need a lot of people to reach out to lots of different contacts and just grind to get the amount of tickets that you needed sold. That's just what it was. It wasn't anything fancy, nothing like that. It was just like, you gotta buckle down and get involved. And they did. So that was good. Some early scores as we are into the intermissions in the NHL. The Blue Jackets, like they seem to do all the time, they've come back and tied it in the first period. Damon Severson with his 8th. The Penguins also tie it. Ricard Raquel with his 16th. How about this? The Seattle Kraken. Don't count us out yet. Brandon Montour has scored. Then Anthony Cirelli tied it up. But then Capo Caco with his 12th. And the Kraken, who are on life support, but they're in Tampa Bay trying to get a win. The Islanders lead 1-0 after the first. Wild and the Panthers. Wild are all over them. 19-6 in shots. But it's 0-0. Flyers lead 2-0 after the first. Later on, games that matter in the standings. The Predators are hosting the Devils. Colorado can get one step closer to clinching first in the West. Utah trying to bounce back after a loss to the Oilers. The Ducks, Oiler fans, will you cheer for the Flames? Maybe a little bit for tonight as they host the Ducks. It's Ryan Strome revenge night for the Flames. Oilers are in Vegas. 7:40 puck drop, and then the late game has the Kings in Vancouver. The Kings need a win as they are on the outside of the playoff picture as we speak. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Terry Ryan, Mac McClellan, everybody here at the studio, have yourselves a wonderful Thursday afternoon. The pregame show is coming up next. Walker and Paulson, they'll take you right through to puck drop tonight. Here's a con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. If you've thought about solar for your home or your commercial building, don't think any longer. Make the move. ActionElectrical.net. They can walk you through the process. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers and Knights down in Vegas. Puck drop 7:30. Our pregame coverage coming your way next. After 20 minutes, Penguins, Sens, Canadians, Jackets all tied at 1 apiece. The Lightning trail the Kraken 2-1. Scoreless in Florida between the Panthers and the Wild, and the Islanders up on the Stars 1-0 in Philly. Blackhawks lead the Flyers 2-0 Later tonight, Blues and Sharks, Devils in Nashville, Jets host the Avalanche, Caps taking on the Mammoth, Flames, Ducks, and the Kings in Vancouver in the association. 3 games all underway. Hornets up on the Knicks 46-40. The Pistons have a slight 48-46 lead over the Pelicans. Kings trail the Magic 48-45. Major League Baseball today, it was a busy one. Not a great start for Skeens and the Pirates. They fall to the Mets 11-7. Brewers got past the White Sox 14-2. Cubbies losing at home to the Nats 10-4. And the Orioles doubled up the Twins 2-1. March Madness rolling on. Purdue right now leads at number 11. Texas 37-32. That's in the first half. Also in the first, Nebraska up on Iowa 27-23. And later on tonight, number 1 Arizona takes on number 4 Arkansas, and Illinois meets Houston in Houston. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, pregame coverage with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. The boys will be back for postgame coverage as well. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.